is for it to go through the system.
Yeah.
So people could, who want to come on, who don't want to come on, who see it, or I join a little bit later, whatever it is. But it's all good, man. So how was your week, man? How's your week going so far?
Man, not too bad. Not too bad. It's all good. Looks like who's this? Who's trying to come on? Hey Lori, you in the chat? I see Lori's name come up. Lori, are you cool or you a troll? Cause I get people out of here who are trolls. I just want to make sure. I'll let you up, but if you're a troll, I'm gonna get you out of here. No, I never troll, I promise. Okay. I'm gonna take you up on that promise. All right.
Listen, anybody could come on. Listen, platform is open, but
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Lori. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the platform.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, what we do here is this: we let people up as long as they, respect the host, respect each other, one mic at a time. It's okay to disagree, but as long as you disagree respectfully, follow the rules in terms of no foul language, TikTok guidelines. Very simple. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. I only have one follower because I like to be very private, and it's only like my fiance following me. I have like over 1,000 requests, but I just don't accept. I think that makes people think I'm a bot or something.
I understand. So, hey, today's topic is, would you marry someone with different political views? Before you answer that, I'll do a quick little opening statement, okay? Political views seem to be very important. Relationships, friendships, sometimes a different political view, can really just draw attention or not. It all depends on the people, the individuals that are involved, And I know a lot of marriages, and they have actual statistics on this, that those who don't share the same views at some point, they divorce. So I'm gonna ask you a question: would you marry someone with different political views? Your answer, and then explain why.
Sure. Yes, I would, but it depends. The reason why I say it depends is because I've actually have been around. I'm a Democrat and have been for the past years, but I have came across people that voted for Republican. They're very conservative, but they're more so conservative because of some of the policies in terms of like money, right? Like financial stuff or what they want, out of the government, and not necessarily like, oh, I hate a Democrat or whatever. Like, for example, like I feel like there's a difference between a Republican and a MAGA, right? Like, I think there's a difference at least. So it depends on why they're voting for that specific party. I need to understand if it's because, oh, like I'm just, a racist that, does not like a group of people, and I, whatever, like certain things that you see in the MAGA community. So if that is the case, no, I can't, just because I believe in equity and equality, right? Like that is very important to me. And I want someone that aligns with that. But like I said, if it's just because the policy that the Republicans have is better for the economy, it's better for certain things that they care about in their life, that is fine to me, as long as, again, we align on certain things. In terms of like the divorce, again, I would communicate about that as much as I can, just because, again, like it depends like why they're voting for that party. So as long as they're aligning with my morals and values, I don't see why there would be a divorce. But I would also expect them to be flexible. For example, like if there are policies that are going to be harmful to a group of people, and they still vote for that just because they're like committed to being a Republican or a Democrat, then that is an issue for me, right? So are they flexible in that way? Like, where's their moral ground, you know? So yeah, that is what I care about more. And I also kind of think that like Democrats and Republicans are just like the same party. It just kind of feels like a game of, you know, I don't know, just I don't like that division. At the end of the day, I feel like most people want the same thing.
Okay. Somebody new has joined the panel. Whitney G, are you there?
Yes.
Hello, Whitney. Welcome to the panel. Thanks for joining in. I'd like to just explain the rules for those who haven't heard it yet, who are just coming in on this TikTok. We just ask that you watch your language, respect the host, respect each other. It's okay to disagree. Just disagree respectfully, one mic at a time. You can dialogue with each other, but it's just as long as you answer the topic first, okay? Would you marry someone with different political views? Your answer, and then explain why.
Yes, but it would depends. You know, if you only one-sided, then no. But if you're someone that got some common sense, then yes. For me, I'm not either. But if I had to identify, I would identify more as a Republican than a Democrat. But the truth is, Republican has issues that I don't agree on, and Democrats have issues that I do agree on. But if I had to identify more, it would be with a Republican. Even my beliefs line up more with a Republican. I know nothing is spiritually corrected about them right now, but you know what I mean? But so I think it would depend on the person mindset. But if you're someone who is so far right, I can deal with a Republican more than I can deal with a Democrat. If you're so far that way, then it's gonna be discussions that we can't have. There's no room for truth. The truth is both parties don't really have any rights depending on where your wallet at, you don't have no rights. The higher your wallet, the more you can get promises made for endorsements. But the United States literally have a group to protect the vote just in case they don't like the public vote. To me, in my opinion, the only reason why we get to vote is because they were smart enough to know that you want to make a group of people feel like they're part of something. That way they don't try to overthrow it. It's kind of like when you work for a big corporation, they say we a family, but if you don't show up, your ass getting fired. But they say you're a family so you can feel loyal and you'll feel like you want to do your job more. It's a science behind it. So it would depends on how far gone they are. And and a lot of people have opinions about these parties, about politics, but they're not doing anything. They're not really educated on the topic. So that's another thing. Are you even qualified to have these conversations? What are you doing? Do you plan on running? What is it that make you so loyal to a group of people who literally is going to throw you in jail if you don't pay your taxes? I never understand it.
Okay, Mr. Yard Chat, you have anything to say?
Yeah, guys, do me one favor. One favor I'm asking. I don't want people to mention what party they are because I do not want to be a separation. This has looking from a human point of view. We do not. You understand? People want their political, but I don't want to mention if they're Democrat or Republican. I don't want that because it's not to me. I don't want it to go into a political Democratic versus Republican. I don't want that. So I don't want. Please don't share if you belong to the Republican, Democrat. Just speak without saying that. I have a reason why, because you're going to have other people coming in and it's going to be sides. And I don't want that. We want people to share their honest opinion about, it's not about party, it's about you. Because at the end of the day, it's not about party, it's about you. And we have to get along regardless of parties. So if you keep mentioning party, that's a divide right there. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? No disrespect to anyone, but if we do it like that, then people are going to take sides, and it's going to be two-sided story. and everybody going to stick to their side, and that's what's going on right now. What we need to break that. Look at it from a different perspective, point of view as a human being. Can we do that? Look at it as a human being, love to another person, another human being, than parties. Because she mentioned party, you mentioned your party, and I don't like that. I don't think it should be like that.
I mean, but that's political views. So I feel like you do have to mention the parties. Now, which one you belong to, that's
But
not even relevant
but let me
information.
ask you a question. What do political views have to do with a marriage?
Okay, the reason why is because it kind of, when you're dealing with someone, if you notice that both groups do have similar mindsets, if you ask me. One believe that they're right, one believe that the other group is wrong. Three is loyal to a flag that literally is made out of cheap material. Um, so the mindset, so you kind of want to know where a person align with you. When it comes to a marriage, you want to be similar. Now, it's okay to have different point of views, but certain things should be discussed, kind of like money, political, how you want to raise your children, different things. What do your life look like? And then depending on who you're dealing with. I have had the luxury of working a campaign, getting close with certain people, not no one on a large scale like a congressman or anything like that. But you do want to talk about it, because if you're dating someone who's a Republican and you're really strong on a Democrat, then I mean, how you going to support your husband or your wife? So depending on the person, it does really matter. You know what I mean? If they're really active in the community and different things of that nature, you kind of want to know what are you pro, because they have similar mindset, but there are key differences. Republicans tend to, I don't know if you ever been to a Republican meeting, um or so, but they tend to identify more with traditional beliefs when it comes to certain ideals. Democrats tend to, if you have been to a Democrat meetup where they have the meetings every month, they tend to be a little bit more open minded. So it can expose certain ideals about an individual. It doesn't make it wrong, but I think if you can't have a discussion, and this is the problem, you both have groups that's loyal to something that's not loyal to them. And if you don't have any room for common sense, that's when you become these extremists. And that's what we got. But if you're going to talk about would you marry someone with different political views, I mean, political is parties. You know what I mean? Even when you run for a governor ticket or a Congress ticket or a Senate ticket, people need to know where you stand, who you identify with. That's sometimes
True,
it depends on the states that
but
you're in.
a question for you. So, if you're both speaking about it and talking about it, and you share different opinion, is it going to be a good time in the house?
Absolutely. I think
How you see what I'm saying? If you see, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna join them together, or we have discussion, oh, I'm gonna vote this party, but you're gonna vote. This is what I believe. I believe it's a personal choice, and that's a personal decision that you're gonna make. Don't even tell your wife who you vote for. That's what I look at. It's a personal thing. And that's the reason why we're in this predicament, because people are spreading their personal belief and opinion and others because of a different party. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I vote for him because this. Oh, I vote for that person because this. Oh, you Republican. You see what I'm saying? It's so marriage and
I
jury
think
selection over people who vote for people over marriage.
And I think that's because they are uneducated jackasses. I mean, I'm sorry, but they're uneducated. I didn't vote. You know what I mean? So some people frown on me when I tell them no, I didn't vote, because first of all, your vote really don't matter when you look at the law or whatever. You just standing outside in that heat for nothing. But or in that cold for nothing. You know what I mean? But I think if you are in a relationship and you don't have the abilities to make room for your person different beliefs, then to each his own. But if my husband don't feel safe enough to tell me, well, I'm a Democrat, knowing how I feel about a Democrat, then I'm the one that got the problem, because I'm so loyal to a group of people who's all running against me at the end. It's all one big show, performs. I mean, the ratings go through the roof and everything. So much money get made doing any election. It's not even about us.
So why are you going to bring that in your marriage if it's not about you?
I mean, because it's something that if you're a person that's an American and you care about your community or different things like that, now locally, I think you should vote. So it should be something that you would discuss. I mean, when you get married, you one band, you one sound. You kind of want to know. It's kind of like you want to know like their favorite color. You want to know things about your mate. If you're not capable of having that conversation, then y'all got a bigger issue.
We're not saying about having the conversation is all between you and the marriage. But what I'm saying is this. This is my belief, and you have your belief. But when you have one person, this party, next person, oh, I don't believe in that. It causes a friction. You don't think it's going to cause a friction in the house?
Again, like I said, I think if you are an idiot who is so loyal to something and cannot see another point of view, you don't even have the country best interest at heart. So I can't marry a person that is so pro anything because it's so much gray area. And like I said, depending on the job that they have, if I ended up dealing with a guy that was a Democrat and I align more with a Republican, then that's something I should know because when it comes to raising our children, different things like that, is there certain things that I don't believe in, just like it be certain things that he don't believe in. Now, if he has common ground and I have common sense and he have common sense, we will both come to an agreement that you know what, you got some valid points. And he would say, you know what, you got some valid points, but we're going to do what's best for our union at the end of the day. And we're going to instill the best beliefs that we can. We don't have to agree on everything, but we kind of know each other deal breakers already. The only thing that would come with a Democrat that would be an issue with me is the LBGTQ. I don't have it's not my problem, but it is certain beliefs that I don't want instilled in my children. You know what I mean? But anything else, who cares? And most people feel that way anyway. Even gays feel that way. I'm not saying all of them do, but if you have the right conversations with people and you have a real conversation, you will find out that a lot of people might be able to understand your point of view.
Let me interject, because I want to hear Lori. So Lori, are you there?
Yes.
So I'm gonna give this study that Good Morning America did, and then I'm gonna see what your response is and why. It says that as of 2025, only 21% of marriages are politically mixed, reflecting a decline in marrying across the aisle due to increased polarization. Why do you think that is?
I think I agree with like what Whitney was saying, how I think people are not like, maybe they lack common sense. They're not really trying to understand each other. Kind of became like, oh, you're this party, so I don't align with you. I don't like what you do, whatever. Like, it should not be that way. It's just your belief system. And if they can have their own, belief system, but you have to sometimes come into an agreement with each other and say, oh, I understand where you're coming from, or, they understand where you're coming from, and vice versa. Sorry, I don't know how to word it. So it should be that way. And any reasonable person would be that way. Like I said, I've came across so many Republicans that I was like, oh, I don't know, because I've always been, like I said, a Democrat. But at the same time, when I got to know them and talk to them, our values actually align on many things, right? Like, I'm also a conservative when it comes to money. I don't think money should be spent recklessly. They feel the same way. There's some policies that I agree with when it comes to the Republicans, and some things that I disagree with. So when you talk to them, you kind of get to understand them and you come to this middle ground. So that's why I say, like, I would, be with someone as long as, our values and, core values and morals align, as long as, again, it's not harmful belief. Like, if they're the type of person that would support a party that wants to hurt a group of people, then that is an issue for me, just because, again, I don't believe in that. So yeah, and then even like some Republicans don't associate with MAGA, right? Like I feel like MAGA is a different, like they say they're Republicans, but it seems like a different belief system. So you come across some Republicans that are actually against MAGA. So when you see things like this, I think we're more alike than we realize. And I see it as like one big party that's now divided into two just because of like minor things. So yeah, no, I would definitely be open to a Republican.
Parsley said, "Trust said the Lord, a house divided cannot stand." No, because some political view intertwined with your own and
Moral
moral
values.
values.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I like when people in the chat get involved, even though they're not on a panel. But some people are making some very, very good statement. Listen, morals and values. See, the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because people have a mind made up or what their party stand for, so they go with it. So they're not gonna give people that type of conversation, talk to the person, know the person, see where the person's from. But we are so caught up in political parties that when somebody says, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that," you automatically, "Oh man, that person views, oh my God, they're way to the left. Oh my God, they're way to the left." So you have a shield. So when you because you automatically, your brain gonna say, even if you're not thinking about it, you automatically your brain gonna say, "Oh, that person is supporting that party, and you know what that party stands for." Wow. And you're gonna be saying this to yourself in the house, "Man, how could she do it?" You're not gonna tell her, but these are what human beings do, and we're not being we call it 100% real. We do things like that. Like, man, how can you vote for how a house gonna stand when there's two different direction?
But everybody has differences.
I-
Like it's not just
But what
political.
I'm saying,
Like
but not everyone, what I'm saying,
yeah.
everyone's gonna agree, you're gonna speak about it and meet some neutral agreement, but you still gonna have those thoughts in your head. When you by yourself, how can she do that? And those things will play on you because you putting your emotion out there on your feelings. And that's where I see a lot of people want to come down to voting. Oh, they're voting for this person, this and that. And they're putting their feelings on your emotion. And now we at this point presently in the world.
I think okay, so I'm sorry, Whitney. So I think the solution was like I kind of touched on it in the beginning too, is like your morals and values have to be very strong enough that you're willing to change parties if the party that you have been voting for does something that doesn't support that anymore. For example, right, like I voted for a Democrat, have always voted for them, and I agree with like their policies or whatever, but let's say now they're bringing up policies that don't align with my moral values, maybe something that's just like goes against me. I should be able to say, okay, I don't want to vote for them anymore. Like I'm not loyal to anything, right? I can switch to a Republican. Like someone has to be able to do that if they're like very
But not everyone is
stubborn.
like that. Not
If
everyone
they're
is like that.
stubborn, I agree with that. But if they're like super stubborn, right, and they act like, oh, I'm loyal to this party and I'm not gonna change whatever, then yeah, it can cause friction.
But I
Right,
think
because you're essentially going against your morals and values, which connected you to your partner, at the start. So it's almost like you're not the same person to that person. So
Yeah, but I know what you want to go, but what I'm saying is this. So you vote Democrat. She vote Republican. What Democrats stand for? What they support? What they put into law? Those are not moral
yeah.
things. You see what I'm saying? So, and you support that. Now, as a person now, I could say to myself, how can you support a party that allow those type of behavior to be illegal? You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Do you see where this is going? So that's what
Oh,
I'm saying. I don't want to hear, because I know what Democrats stand for. No one have to tell me. I know what Republicans stand for. I know exactly what those parties stand for. But what I'm saying is, how can two-person in a house have two different political view? One support LGBT community and other doesn't. It's going to be a friction in the
well,
house.
aren't you the same one who just said that it shouldn't be discussed?
No, I
It
think he's
should no,
bringing
but
up.
but listen, but hear this. No, it should be discussed. But it's
That's,
real. Is on my point, that should be a private. But what I'm saying, a lot of people are not keeping it private
I
and
mean, to me,
making
it's
that
ridiculous. It's
and make it a part.
ridiculous.
But it's true though. You don't see, you don't understand the
Well,
point of view where I'm coming
well,
from.
well, it's kind of like, okay, I think listening is a lost art because the two comments that she mentioned from the comment section was literally the same thing I was saying. I think when I identified as a party, which I don't identify, I made it clear if I had to choose. I think that's what threw it off. With that's when
No,
you
but what I'm saying is, we know what the Democrat Party stand for. We know what
actually
Obama did. We know what Obama did. So,
actually I think a lot of uneducated people have these discussions, and that's one of the main issues. Because I know you're going to go to the key talking points on both parties, but it's so much more. They have a bottom line on their website that you can actually read. And so when I think about a Democrat, if you ask a black person and you bring a LBGTQ, the average person going to say, "Well, I don't support that part," or it's going to be something similar to that. So I think when you having these conversations, just like the Republicans, well, I don't really support Donald Trump, but I am a Republican. You know what I mean? I'm using that as an example. So I think when you having these conversations, you have to be educated enough to understand, well, let's find out who this person actually is. Just because they identify with something doesn't mean that they agree wholeheartedly with that party. Because the party is so much more than its key talking points. So many laws get passed without it making to CNN or Fox News. So many different laws get passed. And I think that we focus so much on presidential because it's in our face. Again, ratings are hard. Money get made. They lie and say they don't make money, but they call it something else instead of endorsements or different things like that. They call it something else because it takes money to run a campaign. You know, it's just thrown in our face, so we make it a big topic because we've been trained to think of it as a bigger topic than what it actually is. So just to land my plane is something that should be discussed, that we all have agreed on that it should be discussed because it does represent certain things. But I think if you're gonna have the discussion, be educated enough. You don't have to read a bunch of books. Just be educated, mentally stable enough to say, okay, what is it that you agree with and what is it that you don't agree with? Because we know that a party is more than its key talking points.
but is that what's going on in today present world?
I think like the host mentioned that most parties are married to each other and it's a small percentage of the opposite. I think that most people gravitate to a similar way of thinking. That's how you more align. So I think it is happening. I think that people have a discussion and they end up with parties that the host just literally said that majority of marriages agree on the same thing. So I don't think this big divide is actually reality because the host just
But
said it.
why they believe, why they believe in the same thing? Because they both are from the same party, or they accept each other views?
Well, I think to the same party, meaning that they both agree with each other
Okay,
ideals.
okay. So when two different party marriage and have this political, as they say, conversation, all I'm saying, you don't think it's going to be an issue?
I think when you get married, it's going to be things that you don't agree on. It's going to be couples who believe in whoopings and others who don't believe in whoopings. It's going to be couples who believe in different things. You have to find what align with you. Let's be honest. Most Americans do not really give a damn. Ain't nobody saying, okay, well, I couldn't marry him because he's a Democrat or he's a Republican. That is not known of. It's so many issues. Oh, first of all, one of the biggest issues of divorce is uncommunicated expectations. You think these people are really having conversations about parties? They're not even having the right conversations about STDs, let alone they're having conversations about political views.
And that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to say. It don't listen. Political views, but it doesn't belong in a marriage because it's going to cause conflict if they're not mature, as you say, to have that conversation.
But if you cannot trust a person to have this conversation with them, then I don't think that is a person that you should marry, right? I think marriage transparency.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't say full, but there should be a good level of like, I know what you believe in, I know you, you know me, like, you know what I stand for and believe. Like, there has to be that understanding. If you're hiding your views from a person, then you don't trust that person. You don't feel safe with that person, and there's no point in being with them, right? So I agree with Whitney. I think there should be communication to see if you align on many things. Like I said, I've came across, Republicans that don't have any issue with the LGBT community. The only reason that they vote for Republican is like certain policies, maybe like when it comes to economy and things like that, right? Like, so it has nothing to do with them going against human rights, right? Even though that party sometimes does. And is that a little selfish? Sure, right? But I still think like you should give the person a chance and try to understand where they're coming from, like why they're voting for that party. There needs to be that communication. And plus, we live in the age of technology. You can go online and see what someone voted for, right? It's not a secret anymore. So hiding it doesn't really work, right? I think you need to have a discussion.
That is so true.
Whitney,
Even
hold that thought. I gotta moderate in a healthy way. Elevate. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, now Elevate, I'm gonna let you talk, but I need to say this, right? I have rules about people coming up here without profile pictures, but if you're not a troll, it's cool. All right. So here are the rules. Respect the host, which is me and Mr. Yarchat. Respect each other. Watch your language. And we're gonna answer the topic before you get into the conversation with everybody else, okay? Would you marry someone with different political views? Your answer and explain why.
I really did. I think it depends on the intellectual capacity of both the individuals. But I will say for majority of people, it is very difficult to be able to build a life with someone that is a part of a different political party. Now, if they both have, different levels of intellectual capacity where, they have some common values, but, let's just say one is, pro-ICE and the other person's not pro-ICE. If they're able to have an intellectual conversation and be able to dissect the entire issue completely and have some sort of common ground, or at least, have a respectful back and forth where I believe in healthy communication. If someone's bringing something up to you, that's not your turn to say how you feel on a thing. It is their turn to have the floor and for their feelings to be discussed, not yours. You can literally discuss your feelings at any other time, but if you bring up your feelings while they're bringing up their feelings, that's dismissive. So the same applies with this. If someone's bringing up talking about how they're upset about something that happened with ICE, and you two are completely different spectrums of that, it's their turn to have the floor and their turn to be, your partner, not a debate opponent. And if you can do that, then yeah, I think it could be a fruitful thing. But I don't think if it's literally every single issue is the polar opposites, that's not going anywhere.
Okay. So I want to kind of like add this to the conversation, right? So that stat is not out of thin air about how only 21% of marriages are politically mixed, meaning opposing sides. It talks about how that marriage even works. What they do is they create boundaries, try to avoid certain political conversations. But the one thing I also want to, another thing I want to put in there is that a lot of people hold their political views just as important as their faith in a marriage, in a relationship. A lot of opposing views and political views don't even make it past the first or second date. So what happens is that you'll see that in just the dating phase is that couples won't make it because of the difference in political views. Does anybody want to speak to that?
I think it should be that way because, you know, most people are talking about just the key talking points that they don't agree on. Most Americans aren't educated as a whole about how our government even run. So, and that's just my opinion. I haven't looked that up. I haven't read that. That's just my opinion. With that being said, the key talking points, if you are someone who do support something and this other person doesn't, a lot of the times it's exactly what you said. It's a spiritual thing. That's just like I can't be with someone who don't believe in God. But what I'm not gonna do is miss out on a husband because he believe in a situation that may not even become our situation. You know what I mean? Like, but I think what people disagree on is when it comes to the LGBTQ and when it comes to AB. I think those might be the key talking points that might be getting discussed, and that's where the disagreement. Did the article explain anything on that?
Yeah, it explains. So the factors that I mentioned and the factors that you mentioned, yeah, because there's political views and then there's political party and then there's voting history. There are people who have political views, but they may vote what the other, they may have mixed political views is what I mean across all parties, right? I know we talk about Democrat and Republican because they're the main two monopoly, but you do have your Libertarian, the Green Party. You have like 20 something political parties on a president ticket that people don't even acknowledge, right? Um, and a lot of people, I think a lot of people on paper are independents, but they still vote Dem or Republican because they feel voting third party is a wasted vote. You know what I'm saying? Or they just don't vote at all. You know, and so the article mentioned um, that when opposing political views come to a standstill, that it can create stress, it can create division. And that is because some people, like I said, hold their political views just as important as their faith. I mean, across the world, across the America, because maybe this matters more here. Maybe this is more of a United States question. And, I'm responsible for the topic because I picked it. And so I think what it is this, especially in any presidential election, there's whatever the agenda is at the time. And yes, I have seen on election season, presidential election season specifically, also midterms, I've seen couples actually break up because they have political differences. I've seen it. And then, yes, people take it into consideration as far as when they get married, children, what your views are, children. A lot of people raise their families based off of that, on what they align on. So it's not an accident that only 21% of marriages as of 2025 are politically mixed because for the most part, they treat it, like I said, just as their faith. So does that answer your question, Whitney?
And it sounds like, yeah, it sounds like the key talking points. And it's crazy because I think in the Black community, it's just too many uneducated people having these conversations. They as soon as some people hear Democrat, as soon as some people hear Republican, they automatically assume the worst. And it's so ridiculous because you haven't discussed the actual belief that the person believes. So I think doing those conversations is super important to have because you get to find out who this person is. And I think that's how they come to realization, oh, we're not compatible. I don't think it's just, oh, you're a Democrat? It's gonna be an argument. Well, how could you believe in this? And how could you believe in that? And then that's when they say, well, I really don't believe in that, but this is how I believe in this, or you know what I mean? I don't think it's just, oh, you're a Democrat or Republican. Ouch. We're done. You ain't gonna tell me you finna lose a good husband because he's a Republican and you don't even understand how basic government work. That's just ignorance.
Well, the thing is, too, I think a lot of people, when it comes to, political conversations or, subscribing to a certain political party, that they take the candidate that is either running or the candidate that's the president at the current time, and they see this person as like someone that, let me put it to you this way. If you were to insult that person, it would be like insulting their mother or their father. Like, there's a very emotional, like, close attachment because when we're talking about politics, we're talking about things that really do hit home. And both parties, Republican and Democrat, both do this. They do fear monger on both sides. So when you have a certain type of fear and that political party is resolving that fear in a way that you feel is the best way to go about it, what's going to happen? You're going to defend it tooth and nail, even when they're doing the negative things. And that's just where I was talking about the intellectual capacity part. Because if you can't separate the individual, like as an emotional attachment, and the actual issues individually, and being like, okay, let me break this down, let me see what the facts actually are, let me see what's actually going on, and let's have a conversation about this, then you're going to have a really hard time. Because just like you don't insult a man's mother, you don't insult their candidate without repercussions. So that's pretty much
So,
what a good thought
so,
to have
so what happened during this election?
during this.
Because everyone was wearing their feelings on their sleeve. See, you know what get me? We as a people, we don't get the attention, we don't get upset or speak about it. All the time we speak about when it start affecting our own backyard. But if it's not affecting us, we don't care. It's when it start affecting the person, then they start to care. They didn't care all that time. But now they care. Why? Why you care now? Why all of a sudden your people care now? Why?
Again, we're trained to as Americans. It's all by design. Like the ratings are never the highest than a presidential election.
Let me ask you a question. And I get what your guy's saying. You're going to have a good open conversation, dialect. Yes, I know all of that. It's all good. But what I'm saying is this. When two people have two different views, especially political, because Mr. Fish made it, some people hold it political like it's the Bible. And when you have two parties that cannot walk together and agree, it's going to cause friction in the house. That's what I believe. It's because guess what? This party said, oh, they're doing this. Then it's like a competition. Oh, my party's doing this. It's going to be very, very, it's going to be, what do you call it? It's like a vice. It's tightening. Call it pressure. This election this year, a lot of people end up single or divorced. Don't you guys know that?
I mean, no one is disagreeing with that, though. I don't think nobody is disagreeing.
But you're saying, but do you think, for me, not saying you can't have a discussion with your partner, your wife, your husband, but what I'm saying, it's not the number one thing in your marriage. If you let that come in your marriage, you're going to have problems.
No one is disagreeing with you on anything that you just said.
But you said earlier, you said, the way your guys speaking on it is like, no, we
I don't
could,
think
two
you're
mature people, we could
listening.
speak about it, but it doesn't happen like that. When I could only speak
I
for
don't think
facts,
you're
what happened.
listening.
What
I
happened
don't
during
think
this what happened during this election. We all seen what happened.
I don't think you're listening to what we're actually saying. I think you're listening to respond. I don't think you're listening to understand because no one disagreed with anything that you just said.
I'm listening. I'm a very good listener. I'm not saying that I'm not listening. I'm listening, but what I'm saying is this. I don't see now. You see how it is? I feel this way and your guys feel this way. But I'm saying is I don't believe if you're going to bring that type of stress in a marriage, it's not going to work. And that's why a lot of people, Mr. Fifth just did the survey. A lot of people who married, they are in the same parties. Because when you marry someone outside of your party, it's just like you're unequally yoked.
I
You're
get
unequally
I
yoked.
get where he's coming from to an extent, just
And
because
let me finish. Let me land. And I think the more I speak, you guys will get it because you guys don't understand. You're looking at this. Oh, we're gonna have communication. It doesn't work like that because I'm looking at facts. This election, it didn't happen like that.
but
We
you do
speak.
have to understand there are still people who are very well, married and that they have this great communication and there have been different parties for a while, right?
We're
Just
not saying
because
that.
just because there's that 21%, and then I think this election was a little bit of a mess just because again, Trump is a very controversial person. He's not a regular Republican.
And
I
what's a
mean there are
regular Republican?
there are many Republicans that don't even support Trump, right?
He's more
So
progressive, yeah.
yeah, he's very I would consider him to be MAGA. Like I don't know. There's like to me, at least in my head, there's a difference between someone that's a MAGA and someone that's a Republican. Just
But
because
do you know him personally?
who, Trump?
The president. Do you know him personally?
Who are you asking if I know him personally?
Laura, do you know him personally?
Who?
Trump. Do you know him personally?
I don't need to.
You don't need to, but you see what I'm saying? I could see the tension already. You see what I'm saying? I sense it
Because
now. Your attitude.
he's not even
No, but it
a
shouldn't be
Republican
about
though.
political parties.
I think I no offense, but if you're just trying to keep the conversation going, it's a good topic. It's gonna do it itself.
I'm not
But
trying. I'm
I
not
think
trying to.
you're
I'm
I
not
think
trying to
you're
keep the
just
topic
not
going. All I'm
understanding. I don't
saying
think
is,
you're
your guys looking at this.
understanding.
You're looking at it at one side of view. All I'm saying is
No,
this.
I think you're one of the people that I be talking about.
I'm one of the people
Literally,
talking about who? What people you talking
I
about?
think, I mean, and I don't want to in social intelligence because I don't know everything when it comes to politics either. But I think if me and you was having a discussion, I think the listening and communication skills is what actually hurt the relationship more than the actual party. Most people do not have, including myself, most people do not have the ability to just listen to understand and be okay not responding. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that hearing because clearly you're not hearing what we're saying. You literally are arguing with yourself. And to ask her if she know Donald Trump is just
Because she's
ridiculous.
making a personal assumption at him.
No, he's when you examine what the previous Republican Party's presidents was, and then you compare it, it's a fair assumption to say that he's not a normal Republican president. Know your history. Go back.
Do you know? Okay, I received that. I'm not scared to be whatever you want to put it out there because I know it's not. But what it is, do you know that a lot of people forgetting when this man, and that's why I didn't want to go, because I don't want this to be a political, because I'm neither Republican or Democrat, because it's one country and one person is running it. These parties are distraction. But what I'm saying is this: when you have someone that will like, okay, the election came. What did he say he's going to use? A lot of people don't, and you saying I don't listen. A lot of people are not listening to what this man said. The first week he went into the president office, what he said he's going to use? What he said he's going to use?
He's going to use the military.
No, what he said he's going to do.
Well, you tell us. 'Cause that's what
Executive
I heard.
order. See, that's the problem. When the president declares executive order, he could use that power. That's what he's using now. And that's why judges and lawyers, because he already got it okay to use it. And you want to come on here and talk about I don't listen, you want to insult me? I take it all good. That's not the platform. What I'm saying is two cannot be, if you have a divide in the house, you're going to have issues. And
Sir,
parties is to divide and conquer.
the truth is, the example that you gave had the actual topic. What I was saying, I didn't say you didn't listen to the president. I was saying that you're not listening effectively here because
Okay.
we're all on the same team here. We all agree with what you're saying. What happened is we're making the conversation a little bit bigger than that. If we all can agree that yes or no, the prompt is a yes or no question, but you kind of want to expand the conversation so it can be productive. You see what I'm saying?
All right, let me interject. Shout outs to my new friend Big Purr. I'm glad she's back. I'm gonna get to you in a second, Big Purr. Hold tight. K Cherry, am I saying your name right?
Yes, it's K Chair.
There we go. K Cherry. I have rules up here. All right, watch your language, respect the host, respect each other. One mic at a time. You could join the conversation if you agree. If you disagree, just do it respectfully. Okay. Question: would you marry someone with different political views? Your answer and why?
Yes, I would. I think to be honest, I think my wife right now, she has different political views. We don't really talk politics. We don't really do it. I think yeah, I'm not really the political person. When people call me and they talking politics, I normally just say, "Oh, yeah, you're right," and just move on about my business. The reason why is because it really doesn't matter, to be honest with you, right? The main goal when it comes to a relationship is making sure that your marriage is successful, that you're gonna stay together for a long time, and you're gonna grow with each other. That has nothing to do
Thank
with
you.
politics
Thank you.
at all. Especially since politics, it changes all the freaking time. Like right now, it's what's going on right now. I ain't gonna speak on it, but it can be something totally different tomorrow. So like you basing who you're gonna be with in the long term off of these presidents and political stuff, you'll be a fool for that. You'll be a fool for that. You're making long term decisions for short term bullcrap. That really don't. To be honest with you, I think we all black on this panel. If you're a black person, you way worse. You way down bad. Because this whole system is not for you. You need to break the system. In order to do that, you gotta focus in on the mission, on your purpose, the purpose for your family. If you sitting here running around trying to act like you a white person, trying to do all political and talk all bad, guess what? You're missing the bigger point because we got a lot of catching up to do. And it has nothing to do with screaming about a president.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, shout out, man. Well, KC Cherry, that's your name, if I'm pronouncing it right. Thank you. I like the comment, man. One thing that people don't understand when it comes down to history, I'm very fluent in history. I'm very, about American politics. I know it very well. But I think people make personal decisions, how they feel, and you cannot live your life on how you feel. You got to make real life decisions because you could feel like a tiger today. Oh, tomorrow I'm a gorilla too. No. And politics always change. But one thing I always say is this. I don't speak about no politics in my house because I am not going to entertain that type of conversation because it's not going to go good because everybody have their personal opinion and choice, married or not. It's going to cause a division.
I admit I wouldn't mind marrying someone that had different beliefs to a certain extent. As long as we could agree like on two main things, because I'm into these type of conversations. I have different conversations with different people all the time, and they don't always agree with me. And
You
I
move
feel
on. You
you
move
don't always
on.
agree with
That's
them.
it.
So my point is that it depends on the person. That doesn't mean that I'm right or anything like that. But I think if you agree on everything, you're gonna have a boring marriage. Like add a little razzle dazzle. Where I think communication skills have to be worked on.
So you like conflict, huh? Within the marriage.
Oh no, well, I admit, one of the things that I always have thrived well with a certain type of man, is the fact that I'm into like finances, politics, AI, different things like that. And so I always thrive well with people who enjoy those type of things. So we have like real discussions about it. But at the end of the day, I understand it's just an opinion that I have. Until I make $1 million, who cares what I say? You know what I
Are,
mean?
are you
I'm still
are you
working on the
married?
basics.
Are you
No,
married?
no, I'm not.
Is anyone on this platform married?
K
I'm
Cherry
I'm
is.
married.
So two, I'm married. Cherry's married. Who else is married?
Me, I am.
Okay. So K Cherry said politics not going as high because it's going to cause friction. I say the same thing. J Track,
I did not say that.
I'm
I
not
didn't say
saying, but
that.
you're saying you and your wife don't really, speak about that like
Yeah, we
that.
really don't talk about it.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
we did talk about it, it would not cause friction. So
Yeah. So, but you're not going to get into back and forth or this and
yeah, we
that
don't need
because
to. We got other stuff that's more important to talk
why
about.
you wouldn't do that, brother? Why you wouldn't do that?
We got more stuff that's important to talk about.
Yes.
Kind of
Thank
like
you.
what Whitney was saying. We talk about
Oh,
finances, about kids, and about career stuff. We don't really
college
like the
and things
politics.
like
Don't
that.
affect me. The only thing about politics that affect me is all these damn taxes that I'm paying. That's about it, right?
Okay.
that's,
Gotcha.
what I'm focused on how to dodge these taxes.
J Track, what do you think?
Yeah. So, first of all, I wanted to just greet the host. How you doing, my brother? Appreciate y'all for letting me up.
No problem.
Hello.
No problem, brother.
How y'all doing? I hope y'all having a good day today.
Mhm.
I just wanted to come up and just share a little bit of my view, a little background on me. I do have.
But answer the question first, though. My bad. I just got rules, just to help the broadcast, and then you can get into what you got to say. Go ahead.
No. Okay. So, would I marry someone with different political views? No, I wouldn't. Because kind of to what the brother was saying about how they just wouldn't. He would because they just wouldn't talk about it, and he would just leave it outside of the home. As somebody that is married, I'm 26. I've been married for a couple years now. There's
Wow.
no way that I would be able to. So politics affect so many different things, especially when you're talking about having a family. They affect the way you budget. Politics affect the school system because he talked about his kids, right? Politics affect insurance. Policies and politics affect so many different diverse area of your life that me personally, I don't see it possible that you can go throughout a whole entire lifetime of being married to somebody, right? You're doing life with this person and none of this stuff comes up. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have a disagreement on now I'm not even going to say immigration. Like if you have a disagreement on the board of education, for example, right? Me and my kids, not my kids, me and my wife are in alignment, right, with what the president's plan is with the board of education and with the education of our children, because that's important. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not small, but issues like that I just don't think that you can avoid. You know what I'm saying? When you talking about uprooting your single life and joining it with someone else's, because when you join with somebody else's, you join with everything that comes with them. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not just married to the person, you're married to the way they see the world. You're married to the way they see people. You're married to the way they do everything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all.
That's a good point.
I just got a question for you, Trey.
Yeah.
So you saying that if it depends on the political issue, that's when you determine if you're going to be compatible with this person.
Well, for me, it wasn't the political view that attracted me to her. So it wasn't for one. When I met my wife, I wasn't even thinking about politics. I was 18 when we met my freshman year of college.
Right. That's what I'm
Politics
getting at.
wasn't, yeah, politics wasn't something that I thought about. You know what I'm saying? But as I grew, but we had enough in common, and we, pretty much had everything else in common besides, well, what do you think about Roe v. Wade, or you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that. We were both Christian, so we were pretty much both grew up in conservative households. We pretty much viewed the world the same. So when things like that align politically, things wouldn't be that much different. But I'm not saying that won't be the case for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And if you are looking to marry somebody, I would encourage, you know what I'm saying, investigating what they believe politically, because I think it's important. So that's it.
Yeah, I like that, Jay. You said how long you're married for? You say you're 26? Wow.
Yeah, I got
18.
married at 22. I got married at 22.
Wow. You have kids?
Yes, sir. 2 kids, and my wife is pregnant right now.
Wow. Listen, you see, I like things like that.
Yes, sir.
Because you know why? Because you're doing it the right way.
Yes, sir.
You're doing it the right way. So, and you said one thing. Witness said one thing. She said, we're going to go back. She said she could not have the same belief.
I said this is what I said.
You said something about not have the same belief. You could go with someone not have the same belief.
This is what I said.
Say what you said, yeah.
It's one or two. It's a few things that I think we would need to agree on. Remember, a political party represents way more than the key talking points that CNN talk about. So because I am educated on that, if someone tell me they belong to a certain party, I know to ask, what is it that you actually do believe in when it's concerning this party? Because it's more than its talking points. So for me, it's 2 or 3 things that we would need to agree on, and this has nothing to do with politics. It's more spiritually, just the way you want to raise your children. You know what I mean? It's conversations that you should have regardless. You know what I mean? And as long as those 2 or 3 things are non-negotiable, which is really one thing, to be honest. But
which one is that?
Well, I ain't gonna put that out there because I don't want to offend no one. And it doesn't matter at this point with the conversation. But as long as it's 1 or 2 things that we do not disagree on, if they believe in everything else of that party, I wouldn't have a problem, because again, I'm one of those people. I'm not pro either or. I'm pro common sense, and both parties represent something that I can both agree on. You know what I mean? Like, I think people get so caught up in a party that they be voting against themselves. I have literally seen that in this election and in a local election. Just because one person represents a party, and first of all, most people don't even know what politics actually is. They don't even understand the basis. You know what I mean? Even how the House even work. So that's another reason why I wouldn't just write someone out, because like K Cherry said, that's not really his big concern. So if he just threw me an answer, well, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, I can't just write him off, because the truth is that's not even something that he's interested in. So for me to assume that he believes in something that he don't even care about would make an ass out of me. I'm not gonna miss out on a good husband because I didn't have enough education to ask more questions. I'm just not.
Listen, sometimes, I'm not even going to go there, but because I don't, I like to say certain things, but today I'm not going to say it because
What is it that you're
because
disagreeing with?
people
Because we're literally saying the same as that thing. I don't know if it's the words that I'm using that's throwing you off. We're literally saying the
no,
same
I'm not saying this is how it is. I think you're putting on a show. I keep it
Okay.
real. I keep it real.
Okay. Well, I
You
can't
putting on
argue
a
with
show.
you.
You're putting on a show, and I want to see the real person. Because you said something. You said, you don't have to have the same belief. Belief in what? Like, what do you believe? We're not talking about politics. What are you talking about? Belief? What belief you
Literally
talking
talking
about?
about politics.
No,
That's
but what
literally
belief?
the
You
topic.
saying I'm not here being arguing. I'm just trying to get some expound and get some more light on this, because
How
I just
about
don't believe
you?
you. I don't believe you're 100% real with yourself. That's
Okay,
why. That's this reason why I asked you
could
about
it
marriage, and you said you're not.
could it be that I have work campaigns? Could it be that I
No,
dated?
because I think you're too
Hold
caught up
on,
in
hear me out,
campaign.
hear me out. Could it be that I might be just a little bit more, because it is something that I do enjoy learning about. So could it be that I might be a little bit, my experience might be different. So that's how come my answer might be a little different to me, because I have work campaigns and I have had the luxury of dating one or two, not big time political people. I want to make sure I put that out there. But I do have a little experience in that area, so I know to say, hey, I have enough sense to know that I can't judge a person based off of just joining one party. You know what I mean? Could it be that my experience have kicked in for me, so it allowed me to have a different point of view?
No, there's no. This is what it is. There's no different view when it comes to politics. It's all the same game, but different words they're using. Same game, but different words, and people buying it. And I'm not buying what you're giving. I keep it real. Nothing against you. I don't know you, but I don't think you keeping it real.
You said, well, me and you wouldn't get along because I'm one of those
Why we
people.
not getting? We reasoning.
No,
We
no, I'm
reasoning. Why you
saying
come with a negative vibe
relax,
like we're not gonna
relax.
get? We
This is
reasoning, right?
TikTok. This is TikTok. I'm saying, baby, if we was in a relationship, we wouldn't get along because
Listen. Don't call me baby.
that
Don't call me baby, please.
relax,
No.
relax.
I don't. I get offended. Call me baby. I'm not a
Okay,
baby.
I didn't know that. See, we
Yeah,
just
see,
communicated.
see, I
We
just play a
just
game when you didn't know
communicated.
that. See what I'm saying? So
To be
it's what it
okay.
is.
I don't
See
know what's
what it
going
is. I
on.
don't think you're real. I don't think you're real. You act like you have the answer for everything, and
I
you don't.
don't.
And you
I
don't.
never
You
said
don't.
that. I
Because you would have been a
literally
married woman, have some influence
that's
on this, and you're not saying this about marriage.
okay if you say so. But
Why you not married? Why you not married? May I
see,
ask?
that's the thing, baby. I mean, I'm sorry, Yard. That's the
Hey,
thing. That has nothing to do with this
it
conversation.
does not.
You,
Can I say something?
It does not.
No. Hold on, because we
But
going
we
way.
share
No.
views in
You
political
attacking
issues,
her
right?
right now, and that's not cool at all. But listen, I just got one more thing to say, then I'm gonna get out of here. So what I was gonna say is, with the political views, I would not actually marry someone or be involved with someone that talked too much about politics. I forgot to say that part. If it was like overboard, would it just always stating their views and always talking about politics and keeping that news channel on 24/7 and bashing certain parties, I wouldn't be able to live with that. That's one of the things that I wouldn't be able to do.
that's
Say
fair
again.
because it's exhausting. Like you have people who consume the news all the time. It is exhausting and it take a toll on your mental health. So I think that's correct.
Hey, Trackstar, you got some background noise. All right, so
I think that was me. Let me put my mic on me.
okay, all right, so I want to do this. All right. Hey, Whitney, you there? I gotta ask you something.
Okay, I'm here.
All right. So you said you weren't married, but are you in a relationship right now?
No, I'm dating, and I want to make sure I understood you correctly when you said it sounded like you said was, but I wanted to make it clear. I never been married.
Okay. All right. So I have a question, and this is for everybody, but I'm gonna do this one at a time. Hey, Whitney, do you discuss politics on the first date?
No.
What date do you discuss it on?
So I actually had a date last night, went fantastic. But the truth is, I don't think I have ever really discussed it on a date. I think it's through passion conversation, but I don't care enough to, we end up having certain conversations, and I find that most people agree on one or two things, and those one or two things are the most important things to me. And we move on. I don't really think I know anyone political party exactly, because statistically most blacks are identified as Democrats. So I think it's safe to assume, and see, I don't identify with a party because I think both of them suck. So it wouldn't really offend me, but I don't think I ever have discussed it on a date.
Okay, so the reason why I bring that up is because I know in my experience, when having certain conversations, you kind of can see where the political views will come up, and it's not so much in identifying what party you rock with, it's your conversations. Do you lean more liberal or do you lean more conservative? And so that's when that typically comes up.
And I think enough when I have these conversations, I'm one of those people that I don't know everything. One. Two, I do go and do some research on some things for myself. And what I find when I'm having these conversations with people, most people don't even know the basis of how it even works. And so for me personally, I avoid certain conversations with people because if you're not interested enough to go in depth with it, that means that you really don't care about it. Meaning, if I decide to have a conversation with you, I'm just picking a fight at this point because people don't really care about it except when it's hot on the news right now. People hate Donald Trump, but ask them what is the basis of his of the law that he his bottom line is what I'm saying. Everyone did the big beautiful dream. It was trending on TikTok. But no one actually went and read Kamala, went on their websites and read their bottom lines. We do what's trending. You know what I mean? It's just make for good conversation over wine on game night with your friends. That's all it is, if you ask me.
Yeah, I hear that. K Cherry, what's up, brother?
Hey, I'm still here. How you doing,
All
bro?
right. Now you said you're married, right?
Yep. Married 2 years.
Okay. When did political conversations come up when you were courting your wife? Like what date, what time period, I guess?
We never talked about it. So my wife, she's from the Bahamas. So for her, she's not really looking at political stuff. But now I can say that it came up with this whole immigration stuff that's going on because there's a lot of stuff going on with the Caribbeans right now, where they're like deporting Haitians and other different people from the Caribbean, right? So that's when we first, like, to be honest, this year is like the first time we really started talking about a little political stuff, but it was like little snippets as far as immigration.
I'm glad you added that context because now that actually gives me more access to understand why you have the relationship that you have with her because once again, she's not from here.
Right.
And I do notice there's a big difference from people who are not from here or at least haven't been here at least, long enough. There are things that are not going to matter to them in the same way it matters to Americans, in this country. So I definitely understand that. Let me get the Track Star because I got to ask some Track Star. What up, Track Star?
Yo, how you doing, brother?
What's going on? Hey, you've been married a long time, but hey, we still have our memories. When you was courting your wife, right? When did you guys have political conversations on the first few dates?
No, we didn't. Not on the first few. We did not. I will say the topic of it came up to kind of go along with what you asked on the brother next to me. The conversation came up when it started to. Because I was really young, and like I said at the time, I wasn't really into politics. I was, kind of still finding my way, trying to figure out who I wanted to be in God, who I wanted to be in the world, So politics wasn't really something that, and we didn't talk about it a lot in my house neither. So, it wasn't something that was in my mind to ask or to think about. But I would say the topic started to come up when we started to both become impacted by it. I met my wife a year before COVID started happening, and there was just a lot going on around that time. So I guess, when we were forced to pay attention to it, that's when those conversations started to come up more. You know what I'm saying? And we had those conversations about where we stood with. My wife's not a big politic person, so she's not gonna, necessarily engage as much as I do necessarily.
but she has her stances on what she believes in, and you know what I'm saying, which side of the aisle she falls on. So I would say over time, you know what I'm saying, and as things started to happen, we kind of started to talk about it more and more. So
That's what's up. Whitney, you had a question. Go ahead.
So my question would be, a lot of jobs do have politics that plays in play of it. It's kind of like I use the example in the medical field. Now, in the medical field, have a lot of political issues, and it's really dangerous to certain groups of women and everything. That's just public knowledge. Would you not date a doctor? Would you not date this man because he's part of the healthcare system? You know what I mean? So political careers are way more than running for office. It expands across the board. It's government jobs, different things of that nature. Would you avoid people? So my question is, are you going to punish someone for being knowledgeable on a certain subject, or are you going to punish them because they are overboard? Because to me, I think being overboard is the issue. But being knowledgeable on something that they teach in school, or they're supposed to teach in all schools, that they teach in college, and that actually can lead to a fulfilling career, and it doesn't have to be running for office. You can't punish a person for being educated on a certain thing, and you can't punish a person for being passionate about their career, or what they know, or what they read, or what they are educated on. If you have any form of business, then you have to involve yourself in some form of politics, because it affects you. Depending if you're a contract worker, construction owner in construction, or anything like that, if anything, then you would be an idiot not to keep up with it, because it literally affects you. If you're in the steel mill industry, if you're a welder or anything, politics heavily affects your job, and your bonuses. I know that for a fact. You know what I mean? So I think it's unfair to punish someone for being educated on something. So my question is, should you just avoid as someone that know anything, or any type of job industry that involve politics, to avoid the conversation?
K Cherry, you came off mute. Go ahead.
Yes, for me, I understand what you're saying, because I've been 17 years in the military, so like I'm heavily in politics, right? So my job every day, everything you see going on, it adjusts based on what we do in the military. Like it changes, like it's changing basically every day, right? As we going on with the politics. I would say no, Whitney, to your question, because like for instance, I'm heavy in it, but we have a policy within the military. You just don't speak on it. Yeah, we see it. We have to operate based on what's going on, but we really don't voice our opinions on it, right? Because it's like sort of what we call it. We call it unbecoming. So with these other fields that you were naming, they need to do the same thing. I know they may have like political views. They might can voice their opinion when they get home a little bit, but for me, I don't really say much at all about it. I just do my job, come home. Mainly, I want to relax. I ain't trying to come home to politics some more, So, what did you say?
Kind of say, I agree with you in the workplace, different things like that. But if my husband is in the steel mill industry, which the Mississippi County is the number one steel mill area in the United States, if he come home and say, hey, we got to cut back because steel is in limited supply, or just like the second round when Biden took office, them boys was not getting the bonuses that they used to get because of who was in office.
So you gotta also, you breaking up.
Being overboard is insane. And you have crazy people out there. Majority probably, but I do think that depending on the industry, to ask someone not to come home and talk about what's actually affecting our lives is unfair.
Listen, big up to everyone that's on the platform. We had a couple people came on the platform, and especially the man point of view. I'm not biased, but I'm making a point. Do you see how the man approaches differently from a woman point of view, from the three other women that was up here? It's like it's overwhelming. Nobody want to come from work and speak about politics in their house. No men want to do that. We only time now men, and the men up here know what I'm speaking about, because we have to pay attention now, because it's affecting us in a certain way. This man is white from Bahamas, so we have to look at it now. We have to pay attention now. But before, it wasn't me. It wasn't nothing. But due to certain situations that I'm not going to get into, we paying attention now because it's affecting us now. But before, it was a bunch of propaganda. But what's going on presently, every man is looking at this different than who you see out there most doing all whatever out there now. Women.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Am I right? Am I wrong? Women.
True.
Because guess what? They taking this political agenda out to lunch. Because the last 25 years, you heard what you just said, Whitney? I have no issue with you being educated. I love a woman to be educated. Everybody should be educated. But when you take that education and run with it, and that's all educate. All I'm saying here, what you're speaking about, Whitney, and I big you up. I respect what you're doing, but you are a certain age. We've had a discussion last week about marriage. They carry all these things. We're speaking about it. To me, you spend so much time and being so educated. All our black women get educated. Yeah, get educated. And now you're 40, 35, 40, 50 years old. Probably have one kid, a single mother. You're not married. Now you're looking for a man. The ideal, what these people put in your head, was propaganda. All I'm hearing you speaking about is money, 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 money,
Why
money.
don't you, before you assume my age?
Because I heard what you said. Mr.
I
Fifth
know
asked you something.
I'm not 40, so you couldn't have heard that, baby.
Mr. Fifth asked you.
Yard.
Can I have the plaque? Okay,
I'm
go
not
ahead, speak.
even, I used the wrong word, first of all. Educated is completely wrong because I'm not educated. I'm knowledgeable on a certain topic. So I just happen to know the definition of what educated is. And that's not to belittle anyone, because I'm the one who used the
You
incorrect.
see, and that is the problem that we have.
But
That is the problem.
again, first of all, relax.
No,
'cause
I'm not
this
relaxed.
is-
Don't tell me to
this
relax,
is
because you're not
literally-
being real. You're not
No,
being real because
okay.
you're not
Am I
being real.
missing something? Somebody tell me something.
And I keep telling you, Mr. Fifth explained it to you.
Yard, relax.
There's a way to
Never
get
mind.
there's a way to get a
Okay.
message. There's a way to get
Listen,
a message across the other
Miss
G.
Whitney,
I mean,
what I'm
he
saying
literally
is,
attacked.
Whitney, I'm not attacking you. No,
Yeah.
no one is attacking.
Oh,
Number
my
one, you
God.
attacked me first. You insult me, and I let it
No,
slide.
I
have nothing.
didn't.
Yes,
I
you did.
literally admitted that I made a mistake. I literally said that I was the one wrong.
But
You
what I'm
have
saying,
decided because I am a woman, you have already put me in a certain idea.
no.
You know what?
I'm not
This is
saying
my
it.
fault at this point. Going back
But
and forth.
what
this
I'm
is my
saying
fault.
is-
Say whatever you need to say.
Whitney, what I'm saying is this. Mr. Fifth explained it to you, and you're doing it again. Everything cannot be political, girl. You got to get off that political crap. It's not, you're going to waste your time in life not having a husband and having kids, whatever. You're wasting your time on these things that people don't care. Politics, like all these men come up here. I'm trying to make a point. They said it's not important. I'm not going to waste my time talking about politics. I'm going to live a life, find somebody, find a husband, find a wife, and relax and have kids, have family, and be there for them. You talk about politics. Why you're not married?
This is the topic. This is the host topic is political views. What are you
Political view,
talking
but what
about?
it's
Like
political view,
literally,
but what I'm
and
saying,
let's be honest. No,
All
let's
right,
be
I'm done,
honest.
man. I'm done,
No,
bro. I'm
no,
done.
because now
I'm done.
it's time to have a real conversation. I
I'm
got
done.
time because I'm about to.
you're not
Okay,
understanding
cool.
what I'm saying. You're not
No, I
understanding what I'm
am
saying.
understanding. The problem is that we're having a discussion and you're attacking a different opinion that's actually
No
not
one-
different, but you're literally attacking someone who haven't attacked your opinion. I never said that she was wrong. I never said
We're
that.
not
I
saying-
even agree with you.
You're
No,
missing it.
hold
You are
on,
missing
hold
it.
on. Because I got time, because I got to be at the gym at 2, so I got a little time. But my point is this. The truth is, because I am a woman and a black woman that's not married, you already assume my age. You said that I was 40, 50. You said when you assumed I had all these other issues, and my life is completely opposite of that. How about
Whitney,
okay.
Whitney, real quick. He was speaking in general. I
See,
know,
thank you,
I know it was fast, but
thank you.
he was
Please.
speaking. No, Whitney, listen closely. I promise. Okay, I was quiet. I was listening. My brother, Mr. Yarchat, speaks in generalities as well. There was a part where he was speaking, and he got general, so he wasn't targeting you. His whole time he was talking, he didn't target you and say your age. He was talking about uh, ladies and men, and then he was speaking in general. So
Him asking me about my marriage or anything, that was all in general, right?
no, that was personal. But before that, he
Exactly.
did.
So
No,
again,
no,
just be fair.
Whitney. Hold on. I am. I'm.
Because
I'm the
he
host.
literally been going at me the whole time.
No, I'm
But
not. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you, but Mr. Fit, give me a minute.
I literally just offer a
Listen, but okay, all right.
You know what it is? I think that there's a lot of ways to get things across, and everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. But in the same moment of time, context is also very essential, which I also reiterate all the time when it comes to conversations. This is why I don't get upset at anybody, because I know, education here in this country,
Sucks.
it lacks. Yes, very much.
Yeah.
It's not
yes.
education, it's actually indoctrination.
So Blazing J, welcome to the panel.
Yes, sir.
And Whitney, hang tight. I'm gonna have a one-on-one with you just a minute, okay? Whitney, just bear with me. So Blazing J, I have a topic here. Would you marry someone with different political views? Go.
Unfortunately, no, because nowadays it becomes a lot more difficult teaching because the receiving side, once again, the receiving end, most of the time they do not receive as easily because it kind of relates to the Russian sleep experiment of how you put soldiers into a room where certain conditions are prolonged. Now you have an extended problem because people are so used to this surrounding that they're going to call for this surrounding, or their mind, their frontal cortex will essentially call for this sort of surrounding time and time again. So I'd rather sit here by myself and actually realize what it is I need instead of what it is I want. And instead of being in my emotional mind, again, utilize my frontal cortex and use my logical standing once again. So I'd rather marry a conservative, which I already talked to a conservative, and this is just my personal preference. It's not against anybody, once again, because a lot of liberals are also miseducated and misrepresented. So I get it. The anger is absolutely okay, but then again, the violence is something that needs to be looked at a certain point in time, because now it just becomes redundant. It's disgusting. But that's just me.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you something else. So, this particular topic is not about who versus who, but it's just talking about how it would work. If the
Okay.
views are different, would you or would you not? Because Good Morning America, I read earlier, did a study, and it said only 21% of marriages as of 2025 are politically mixed. Now, I need more. I wish they would have gave more context to politically mixed, because someone could be on paper
Right.
associated with a party, but everything they vote is independent, in a more independent way, meaning they'll vote for many different parties because they're issue voting as opposed to party voting. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
there issue
saying?
voting. There's no, in terms of voting, I feel like a lot of people just skip over policy. They read over issues, over specific issues, or just one simple issue, which again, even your anatomy is not so simple. It's not black and white. So I think I do need more context in terms of what their study was about and how this all came about and where it came from. Because again, there's no context in terms of the study being proposed.
Right, and I think that they're basing that study off of what you are, what you are on paper. If you're registered, because I know people who are registered to one party and vote the other way
What the other,
every single time.
right.
Or like I said, they're independent, but their votes either lean more right or they lean more left.
Right.
So you have that as well.
Mhm.
Whitney, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Whitney, let's have a conversation. This is me and you, okay?
Just me and you.
All right, Whitney, how you feel here? You okay being here?
Yeah, I just lost one of my nails. That's it. But I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, okay. I'm just checking the temperature with you, to make sure everything is cool because I do want ladies to come up here and feel comfortable up here. I don't pander because I do hold women accountable, men and women, but I do want women to definitely be comfortable up here. So I'm just making sure everything is good with you. I don't do a lot of talking. I like to kind of like let the guests, be featured for the stream, but for me being moderating the conversation, I do have to chime in, gear the subject somewhere, maybe add a couple bullet points and ask questions. Okay, so Whitney, I do want to ask you something, right?
If I may,
Go ahead,
I
Whitney.
wanted to make sure, I enjoy these conversations, but at the end of the day, I got enough common sense to know that it's just tit top. You know what I mean? And the pandering, people do pander. No one pander to women unless it's a man that's just trying to get views, or if it's a woman. Men pander to men and different things like that. I don't take none of that personal because at the end of the day, I should have my butt in the gym right now instead of at 2 o'clock. So I just want to make that clear. Yard or anyone else, I respect your opinion because I got enough common sense to know that it's just opinion, just like mine. It doesn't make it a fact. Some of this is just common sense.
Okay, cool. So Whitney, so here's my question, right? So when we talk about, Whitney, let me ask this question. You don't have to answer it. Do you have any children?
No.
Okay. Whitney, don't say the actual number age you are, but I'm 38, so I'll give my age. Are you between the ages of 30 and 40?
29.
29. Okay. All right. 29. So how important, let's see, in top 3, right? How important on your top 3 list, how important is aligned political views for you in choosing a life partner?
I think I have already answered the question because I have experience in this area. I know that I don't care if he's a Democrat or a Republican because I have enough experience to know that a Democrat and Republican are more than the key talking points that everyone refers to. So if he said that I'm a Republican or a Democrat, it's only one or two things that we need to agree on. Now, someone did ask me earlier what that was, and I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to offend anyone. But the truth is, it's about the LGBTQ. I need to know that we're not raising our child to think that it can be a boy or a girl opposite than what it originally is. That's something that I need to know. And it's one more thing that I need to know. But if they decide that they want to, I don't identify with either party because there's certain things that I agree from both parties. You see what I'm saying? And I'm knowledgeable enough to know that. Now this is where people argue with me about it. I don't believe that our vote matter. So if it's going to be any discussion, it's not going to be about political parties. It's going to be, well, the votes doesn't matter. Now, I have had that discussion, but at the end of the day, I was having that discussion with someone who was into me and I was into him. So we both had the basic understanding that this isn't a problem for real. This is passing conversation. We can't worry about stuff that's above our pay grade. I got student loans. You see what I'm saying? So you telling me I'm gonna miss out on a good husband because he identifies something that's probably never gonna come up in our lives anyway? Some of this is just common sense. I'm sorry.
Well, so the question was, I appreciate your answer, but my question was a little more concise than that. I'm saying as far as a scale of importance, like, you know how people have a scale of 1 to 10 or like top 3 things that matter to them? I'll get more in depth. For most people, faith is number 1. So if they don't have the same faith, you're out of here. Number 2, for some people, is politics. So some people regard it like this. faith, politics, right? Or some people are politics number one, faith will probably be second or third. So that's why I asked that question.
If I had to list it on a scale of 1 to 10, how important the discussion of politics is,
No,
then I would say,
aligned
I'm sorry, I
views.
misunderstood you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
What did you say? Do you mind repeating it? I'm doing something else.
It's okay. I mean, as far as aligned views, meaning it's more so liberal conservative. You know what I mean?
Right. How
Yeah,
do our political views align? Right. That's what you
yeah,
asked, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I guess it was just wordplay that threw it off then, because that's what I thought she was asking. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm assuming you want it on a scale. I would say a 5.
Okay, okay. I can appreciate that. Blazing J. All right, you came off mute. I think you had a rebuttal.
I
You
mean,
go
I
ahead.
didn't. I had a question for her because I just wanted to ask her what it was that. I mean, besides the whole LGBT issue, I wanted to know what else she would have in mind in terms of things that would not align with her. I mean, this is not for no personal information, but just to kind of get a roundabout as to where your mind is at, Whitney.
Well, what I find is that when I talk to people, I find that a lot of people are not, including myself,
Okay.
we're not, as the average person isn't educated on everything when it comes to parties.
Correct.
So it's important to, and what you will find if you actually work on a campaign or anything, because I have done that.
Okay.
And what I found is that people was held up on the name, but they didn't really know too much about the party. And kind of find out some of the beliefs both parties do agree on. If
True.
you ask the average black person, the average old-fashioned black person that's like 45 or older, they have certain beliefs that just common amongst culture. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's important to me to, if me and you are dating, you tell me you're a Democrat or Republican, I just can't have that luxury just to write you off because of the name. It's just not that big of a deal. We are worried about problems that may not never come about in our lives. That's just like when they be like, well, the United States spent $18 billion overseas, right? You're never gonna see that $18 billion. If you do not pay your taxes, your ass is going to jail. How am I gonna make that a problem into my relationship? You see what I'm saying?
I
So
definitely do
I
see
don't
what you're
have
saying.
that in me. I don't have that in me to create an unnecessary problem.
Well, I can definitely agree with certain points that you brought up in terms of certain things that are above our pay grade. But in the same moment of time, we also have to realize that we do have rights in this country, especially as Black Americans and those that are indigenous to this country or even citizens, so to speak. We have amendments that protect these rights, and I think that we should definitely practice them. And all of these folks that are spreading, I'm sorry, this probably has nothing to do with the prompt, but again, the two wings of the same bird is also another con, so to speak. And then there's the the vote doesn't matter. That's another con, because now if we don't vote, what happens? They have enough power to grab.
Now,
And
see, that's where me and you would disagree at. The vote to me matter locally, but
definitely,
that's
definitely.
where it would be a disagreement at, because they literally have a group of people, and it's like almost 200 and something. You can literally go on any government website and look up the signatures of the electoral colleges,
Okay.
and they literally have a group of people. If the people do not decide the right choice, they have a group of people that decided for us. So that's where we would have a fun conversation. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter anyway, because we don't have no, in my opinion, it wouldn't really matter at the end of the day to be mad at you about it. But if we were gonna have, like, over wine and some pizza and have a discussion, that would what it would be about. It wouldn't be because you're a Republican or a Democrat.
I mean, certain things that I'm sorry, these liberals and Democrats do, it's not beneficial for black families. In which this is why, in terms of protecting my bloodline, I do not date Democrats.
I think it's a trick. Not saying that it is true or isn't true, but considering kind of going along with what the brother Jay said, it's kind of a slap in the face. I think just a little bit to the men, especially the women. Oh my God, talking about all of those things that the woman went through to have a voice in this country. I just find it interesting. Let me choose my words carefully. I find it interesting, what I'm saying, when people say that their voice don't matter, or they feel as if their voice don't matter, and they're just not going to engage. I used to think this way, which is why I'm saying something. But our ancestors went through a lot to make sure that not just as African American people, but as women, what I'm saying, that y'all can have and we can have, a say in this country. And rather or not we do or we don't, the fact that we can now, I think it's in our best interest to make that voice heard. You know what I'm saying? And, whatever happens, happens. But to just stand on the sidelines, and I wanted to address an example that you brought up, Sister Whitney, about the fact that, certain issues don't affect you. And I want to say to that, certain things aren't a problem for you until they become a problem for you. Like, say, for example, when people bring up the issues with Doge and the fact that, all of this money was going to overseas and all of these other different places. Well, can you imagine if all you found out that our government decided to cut spending on, programs in our country that help our American citizens? They decided to cut it, but yet they were still funding millions and billions of dollars in other countries.
Sir, I don't mean no harm, but this is a clear example right here. They're already doing that. So, like, I don't know if you know anything what's going on in the Amazon or anything like that, but the United States is literally doing it. They do that like every war, like they did that with Putin and old dude doing COVID thing. You know what I mean? So this is the reason why I don't have these conversations, because most people don't care enough to go in depth. It's not that they're not smart enough. They just don't care. And that's okay. But everything that you just said, and then when you brought up the rights, I'm not going to argue with you about that. You know what I mean? Because I can understand your point of view. And my opinion, I can understand your point of view or whatever. But that's why I don't have these conversations, because what you literally just said is incorrect.
If I may, this is like what the conversation that just happened now is just an example that there's a lot of people that don't have the intellectual capacity to have these types of discussions. There are individuals that they will talk about a thing and they'll be so passionate about it, but what they're talking about isn't based anything in fact and logic whatsoever. It's based on indoctrination. And the thing is once you indoctrinate someone, it's really hard to undo it, because their brains tell them, this is right, this is right, this is the reality of the situation, this is what's going on, right? And once you get to that phase of thinking, for the most part, there's no undoing it. There is no undoing it, no matter how many facts you give, no matter how many sources you give them, no matter how much you show them the science of a thing or, the actual logic of a thing. They will cling on to it. They'll cling on to it like it's their lover. If they let it go, that their life is in danger. That's the most dangerous part about these types of conversations a lot of the time. So I think this is where I go back to the point that both partners, no matter if they both are for the same political party or different political party, they need to have some sort of intellectual capacity for when there's something they don't agree with.
Right. Now, Elevate, I have a question for you. In terms of your definition of facts and indoctrination, how far does that go? What does that look like for you?
I was gonna ask you.
So, like, for example, if we talk about the anti-suffrage movement, right? A lot of people say that this was women's idea, that women fought for their rights, yada yada yada, but they don't want to go into the history of looking into Susan B. Anthony and realizing that she was indoctrinated by her father from a very young age, and there's a racial spin on that. There's a business portion of that where they wanted to tax more individuals, and they did end up spiking the prices once women did get their rights. That gets to be left in the dust. So a lot of times, like, people mention these historical history eras and things that happened, but they don't know the full thing on what happened on the thing. They just know what they were indoctrinated with in terms of information.
Okay, so are you? I'm not saying you are, but are you making somewhat of an accusation that because I believe women should vote because they used to not vote? Do you believe that's a form of indoctrination? That I believe that?
Indoctrination would be that it was solely women's idea for them to get their rights. It wasn't solely women's idea.
I never made that claim. My statement of fact was the fact that women did fight for their ability to vote because they didn't have a voice at one point and now they do. That was my only point.
Well, this is the thing. If we look back, in history, and it's still relevant today, just people like to sweep it under the rug because it's a popular thing to apparently become misandrous and disrespect men. It used to be that, men were the voice for their women, for their wives. And it's still evident today in today's society. If you look at a couple and there's a woman and she's trying to get her voice heard, she's not getting heard, guess what? The man's going to step in and advocate for her. That hasn't changed it throughout history.
But that's what you do in a relationship. That's something that even when I'm in a relationship, I am a lazy thinker when I come to relationship of a lot of things.
Right.
So if he decides to step in and handle it for us, I don't, me personally, I don't have a problem with that because I do think it should be an order when it comes to a relationship. There's no need of me doing the same thing that he doing and then we're neglecting everything else. You know what I mean? We all have our roles. So I do think one of the things that we went wrong in the movement for women, we didn't get anything that we actually need. We was fighting so hard to be them that we forgot that we're not them, that we are women. And then we don't know how to pick our battles. That's not a good battle example, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
Right. The thing I was addressing really was just the part where he said that women fought for their rights because there's this narrative that it was solely women that were fighting for their rights, when in actuality, there were a lot of men that were behind this movement. A lot of men that had motives to do catastrophic things because there were men out there who felt that women were inferior so they can be used as pawns in the workforce so we can tax more people and we can start spiking the prices of everything. So I mean, and that's just one part of the puzzle. It's not even the full puzzle piece. So I mean, I think it's very, very damaging to say that, it was just women that were fighting for their rights because women just ended up following after the fact. Men were really the initiators of this. We have to take accountability for that.
That's a very interesting point that Whitney made. And I think that, honestly, it's funny because the statistics really go to show, unfortunately, that a lot of women believe that it's two wings of the same bird, sorry. And I do feel like we have established roles, biological roles in this society. And as Whitney said, a lot of women tend to try to play the man, and it doesn't work ever because it's not meant to work that way. We have roles, once again. We're supposed to take care of y'all. Y'all are our partners. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's the most damaging part. Just knowing that women fought for these rights and now they don't even practice them. I'm sorry, I had to put it this way. Y'all are greater than that. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot easier to.
That was my whole
Let me let my point right quick. I was just about to say that women can do way better than that. Y'all are great, and just remember that young mindsets are way more vivid than men's in terms of even writing or even expression. And it has to do with the emotion once again. The frontal cortex, we're supposed to utilize that, and y'all help us with the spiritual, right? And that's just what I gotta say.
Well, Black, you said something very important. You said a chat earlier. You said that. Let me go back and see your chat. But you said it. You said it just a minute ago. You're talking about the character of the woman has been changed. And that's why you have a lot of women today have the mentality that they are the boss. Because I'm all for women's rights, equal rights. I'm all for that. I don't want Whitney, since she think that I'm picking her, but she, the thing is, when in today's present time with women, it's not gentle, it's not soft, it's rough, because you want to be equal with a man and you're not. When I don't want to take this out of, like, I'm not a male chauvinist, don't take it out of. So if we, and this is what it always boils down to, and it always come back to this: when you are not under the leadership of men, it's a problem, because we're moving away from the natural to the unnatural, how the Most High create things to be. So when a woman say, I don't need a man, I want to be the man. You take up every responsibility, and you're not equal to be a man. You so much into politics. These women these days, they're so much in politics because they want money and be independent. They don't want a man. That's the modern era woman today. And that's why you have a lot of people outside the Western, and they look at the woman in this country, or overall, man and woman, and say, wait a minute here. These people don't have no character and morals. And it's true. So you don't think the world is looking at how we do our politics, how we do the voting, how we live? The world is watching us and looking at us, and we want to think, oh, we are the best country. No, morally, we are not. We are in the tank. And women now think they have the education. You forgetting that you're a woman. You're supposed to be caring, the nurture. So when you move away from being nurture to the world, to the kids, now you want to be a man. What's going on here? That's the last 30, 40 years. You don't need a man. Go get education. Get all the degrees. Get all the degrees. Get all the educated. Get all the degrees. But you're forgetting what? You are the source, and you're supposed to be a help maker to who? To your man, to the husband. And when you get away from that, we have what we have right now. Chaos. People not operate in their lane. You in somebody else's lane. Why a woman going to be in a man's lane? And why a man going to be in your own lane? Stay in your lane. So when you move away from the concept and the righteousness of God, you have this. It's this what we have. And I keep telling people, you could come on here, you could speak about your political issue, your feelings and everything. But what it is, when a country forsake the true creator, the Most High God, and worship money and think it's their God, what do you think is going to happen?
I think you make a very good point.
Nobody's thinking about that point. Everybody, me, I want to do this. I want to do it. You get all. You could know all the educated. We all know Republican help black more than a Democrat. We know that the Whig Party is a Republican party for back then. They formed that party to go against the Democrat, because the Democrat, they're the one that did slavery plantation. The mindset, it's slavery, it's to keep you in captivity. So the Republican came and said, wait a minute, the Whig Party, the churches, they went to the black churches. Republicans supposed to be black. We are black Republican, never Democrat, because Democrat always supports slave. Why would somebody vote for a party that have them enslaved? So that's what the party is. Republican did more for blacks. Look under the Trump policy, what he's doing for black people. Look, not just the LGBT. Look what he's doing for black people. That's why this war is not ours. How do you feel over these 400 years, you're getting everything catered to you, and you have another nationality playing catch up, and you want to say we have rights? What rights do we have? Do you understand what we got to go through in 1965? Hose, hot water, spraying on people, dog, biting black people and black women and kids, and you want to say this country is equal to everyone? Stop the propaganda and wake up. You're being educated, you're being misled, you're being full of a bunch of propaganda and lies.
I agree with everything that y'all said.
Okay.
I agree with everything that he said. Because I do think that some people,
Hey,
some
Whitney, hold that thought. Jermaine been waiting. Jermaine been waiting for a
Yeah,
while.
Jermaine be waiting. Yeah.
Answer the question first, okay? Then you can get into the topic, Jermaine Jackson.
All right, thanks. So I think that it's hard in this day and age to be with people in different political views. And that's only because we're kind of in the binary choice when it comes into that with extremes. And there's always underlying moral values that come along with why you think a certain thing should be. And so that'll just be a moral disconnect from people. So that's my view on the screen.
We need a balance. There is no balance.
Oh, yeah.
It have to be a man and a woman to balance this thing, to fly this ship here. Ain't no one pilot in here. So you keep flying by yourself, you're going to be by yourself. Because you cannot fly a plane by yourself. You need a co-pilot. Am I right or wrong? And your co-pilot is your partner. And your partner, you have a main captain, which is your husband. And your main captain, the husband, going to dictate and give orders. I don't want to sound like that, but give direction or directive to the co-pilot so everything could be on the same page. So when you have two person have two political views, you're going to cause tension in the house.
Yeah, again, I think that Yard is right on a lot of the things that he said. I think when it comes to relationships, I do think that it should be a certain order, and I think if you even go biblical, well, I know for a fact, if you go biblical, it's a reason why God has it that order, and he explains it. There's no mistakes that get made. But I will say that I think in real life off of TikTok, women don't get punished for knowing certain things or being able to have a productive conversation. I just speak from experience. One of the reasons why I think I always have had good relationships or so is because I was able to have certain conversations. I was able to understand the issues that they was having. I didn't always have a solution or anything, but a lot of times they just want to listen to ear. I do think, and then because I do have the luxury I have had the luxury to experience other people do desire to have certain conversations and want their partner to be kind of interested into some of the things that they're into. It's kind of like sports. I went to a sport game last night. I'm not a sports person, but I like this person. So I took the time out to learn a little bit about the team. So just to land my plane, I think that a lot of ego in men and women plays a big part when it comes to relationships in today's time. And I think that we try to make our opinions all facts, and we're really bad listeners. But no man is ever gonna punish a woman, or I don't think, how dare you know certain things, how dare you be knowledgeable, it's kind of like no woman is gonna punish a man. How dare you be a great man, how dare you show up and have integrity. It's just certain things, and if you that person who lack basic communication skills, education or anything don't have nothing to do with that. You don't have good relationships with family, friends, work, or anything. You can tell a lot about a person by who interacts with them and if they have any interaction with anyone.
So I came up because I wanted to kind of comment on the indoctrination thing. And I feel like indoctrination is if people aren't giving you both sides of the argument and actually the clear exact argument that both sides are making, then it's probably some sort of indoctrination.
Good point. Good point. I mean, I believe a lot of okay, let's keep it real. Outside of education, right? We are so documentary here that if your child go to school outside the country, guess what? And if you come back here with that degree, they don't even respect it. You got to do 2 more years to be document to their system. It's a system, man. It's a system. And
That's a lot of countries, though.
yeah,
Because I
but do you believe that's right? Do you believe that's right?
I think what the problem is, because I actually have tried
But
that.
one more
To take,
question.
I'm answering.
What?
I'm just
No,
answering
no.
you.
Before you do to and add this one, why we could live here and go to another country and they accept it?
That's what I was gonna say. It's not always transferable from America to a different country. A lot of countries are like that. Even when you try to do an online class, you know what I mean? It's a disclaimer. So I get what she's saying and everything, but I'm sorry, but that's a lot of countries because the curriculum is different for a lot of them. In fact, overseas, I think they have better curriculums
They
than
do.
we
They
do. You know what I
100%
mean?
do. They
So my
100%
point
do.
is, why would they accept Americans knowing that theirs are better? They don't. And why in America don't accept theirs because our curriculum is different. But we are behind. You know what I mean? But again, that's across the board. That just is. I'm sorry.
In some countries, you could be 16 and gone out of high school. Some countries, you graduate high school 16, you in college. By the time you're 20, 21, you have your degrees.
They do
They
that in the
shouldn't.
United States
The
as
thing is,
well.
the thing is, these people play with your time and you don't even know it.
They
They
do
play
that
with
in the
your
United
time.
States
They
as
take your
well.
time away from you. So by the time you realize the system, you're like, oh my God, it's 20 years. And and not telling people, education is good to have, yes, but morals and character go a long, long way.
That's why more and more people are starting to homeschool because of how important that is, and you can literally, if you can incorporate that in your home, you're unaliving 2 birds with 1 stone. You're able to have your children be raised with the skills that they need, because a lot of the times, like, you go to school and they used to have like critical thinking class, like critical theory, I think it was, and home ec
CRT.
and
How about
all this.
CRT, correct?
Or
No,
current events,
CRT.
Yeah.
Yeah, not CRT.
Oh, not
current
CRT.
events. Yeah.
No, not that. I'm talking about like where you would actually need to. I know I didn't particularly have a class, but I've met people that have had something called, I think it was critical theory, where like you have to do a whole layout on why you disagree on a thing or agree on a thing, and you need to have
Yes.
sources. You need to back everything you say up. You can't just say, well, I feel this way, so that's why this is correct. Like, you couldn't do that. Like, you need to
Right.
cite your sources.
Right.
Because what we're forgetting, what a generation skip. Remember when you was in class and the teacher said, I need detail, you got to give the teacher detail. Now there's no detail no more. That's it. Oh,
Are we talking high school, college? Like what
no, I
level
mean,
of school?
even like in high school, I remember they used to have current events. They don't have that no more. They don't have.
Yeah,
They
they
don't
do.
have. They have it, but they change it, but it's not the same no
No,
more.
they
No.
don't. Not in a lot of schools. They don't. I'm not saying all schools, but they
Yeah.
did take world history out. They took
Okay.
music out. They took art.
Okay.
Anything that create any independent thinking.
They
Most
take it away.
schools, they took it away. I did
Yeah.
a paper on that in college.
It really
So
depends on your location and your locality, really.
yeah, because I was gonna say from an anecdotal experience, I helped my daughter out like weekly with a critical thinking to where she gets to pick any news source, read it, and then write about it. And she has to always pick them from various different ones to write about.
So
So
a
that's
lot of
just personal experience.
a lot of curriculums now, okay, like history. When I was going to high school, they said, or junior high, whatever, elementary, Christopher Columbus discovered America. We know that's a lie. We know that's a lie, and we knew that for years. But the book system, the clerical system, said that's how it is. So when you have people lie to you through the school system, and when you get older, 20, 21, 22, 25, wait a minute, I didn't learn nothing. I'm not using that. So a lot of things, they used to have wood shop, auto mechanic, all those things supposed to be in high school. It's preparing you. High school is supposed to prepare you for life. But they're not giving these skills to kids. You know, kids are going to school now. Some kids come, they don't know how to read. They don't know how to write because the system is just say, oh, just go through the system. You're good. But what, see, the thing is what the enemy does to use the education, he's using education away. It's not the right knowledge. People are getting no knowledge and they're going to perish because they don't know what they're doing. People born, they don't know. They go in all direction. Now you have people out here. You want to be identified as a dog. You have on a costume. I heard someone said a kid in Brooklyn. When you go in there, you got to call that kid that because if not, you get in trouble. I forgot the name of the school, but the kids come dressed and that. I said, what is this? So when you brainwash people and manipulate them, tell them, listen, you could be anything you want to be because you feel a certain way. And it's not. And you want me to lie because I work in the atmosphere. You want me to lie what my eyes seen and believe propaganda.
You know what, too? Honestly, being a student of Job Corps, or a former student of Job Corps, should I say, when it was established in 1964, and this is in August of 1964, by the way, established by Lyndon B. Johnson, right? It's due to the Economic Opportunity Act. So basically, this was designed to address youth unemployment. Now, everything has changed over to, instead of helping American citizens know who they are and know their true self, what they're going to do now is take this program and shift it over to those that don't belong here and those that are here to deplete our resources. And it's really sad that so many people have fallen for the tricks of the media saying that they're so-called immigrants. No, these are people that are here to degrade who we are, to replace us, and to reclassify, which this is very important that we realize that our education is no longer education once again. And it's past education. This is about frequency and attacking your mind. And actually, Pete Hegseth, the head of the Department of War, right now he has a book out called The Battle for the American Mind, and he explains exactly this. So if you like to read, hit me up. I'll send you the book. I have it on my laptop for free.
Yeah. Society, man. I just think a lot of things change society, how things used to be. And we know. And like I said, how it is right now, listen, for me, I can't speak for nobody else. For me personally, to go out there now, this is not my battle. It's not. I am telling you, it's not my battle because let me tell you why. And I explain myself very well. For years and years and years, I see my people slaughter in the street in every state. What is going on is when things matter and they start interfering with other people, then they want to say, okay, we need help. No, it doesn't work like that because guess what? When you stood on this sideline and watch people die and you know it's wrong, no one said a thing. But when rich people are being affected, now they crying out, it's not my war. Because my people going through this till this day. My people, even when I walk in a store, the looks that I get, when I go in Macy's, when I go in all these stores, if I'm not with my wife is Asian, I get it all the time. Trust me, people, when I go in these stores, I get the look like, what the hell you doing in here? And that's how I feel. And it's real feeling. So don't come and tell me I got to go out and protest on some front line. And the thing is, these groups go to other states and there's no problem. Why that state? Do you know why? Do you know why, people? Do you know why, people? Why that state? Because of the fraud and the racism and the bias. And Trump is saying, enough of that.
Yeah, I
There's no
heard
more
that.
DI. There's no more DI. Kill it. None of that. See, let me tell you something, people. Let me tell you something. I'm not saying a Republican support or Democrat, but I know in truth, God could use anybody, anything to make his point. Let me tell you something. I give Trump respect. You know why? You know why I give him respect? This man came on national TV and said, I had enough. There is two gender in this world. Ever since that man made that declare, the left said, listen, we're going to do anything necessary. Who you think out there protesting in Minnesota? And you want
American
to say,
citizens.
who you American citizens, but who you think is out there protesting right now?
God, no, I hope it ain't us.
They're mercenaries. They're all mercenaries. They're all military age men.
And you know who's really out there? The LGBT community.
Oh, okay.
Nobody want to say that. See, nobody want to say these things.
So
But it's the
there's
truth.
not
It's
two
facts.
genders. I mean, you know that gender and bio and sex are different, right?
Listen,
Here we
listen,
go.
listen,
Here we go.
listen, brother, listen,
Here
brother,
we go.
listen, brother, listen, brother. Donald Trump went on the record and said there's only two gender that he know of.
Well,
That
I know he
biological.
did, but I'm telling you, he didn't bring evidence. He just said
What evidence,
words.
brother? What evidence do I need?
Well, you got to realize how
What
gender
evidence
came
do I
about.
need?
So how gender got started, like why we use gender as a concept. And that had to do with intersex children. And because of intersex children and figuring out which sex we would classify them at is where they then came up and started to decide gender. And gender
Listen, man.
isn't the same thing as your chromosomes.
Jermaine, what do you identify as, Jermaine?
Oh,
I identify
God.
as he, him.
Bro, he, him. Okay, how can someone identify as they or them? Who's behind you? Isn't they speaking of more than one person? So if you come to me identifying as they, so where's the next person? Who? Where are you? Where? Listen, let me tell you something. And I'm glad you're on this platform because God always works everything for good. Let me tell you something. They have energy, or I'm going to say vibes, and he destroyed everything that the Most High made that was good. He even corrupt life itself because we're all born in iniquity now, so everything is corrupt.
Explain something. So collectivism, in terms of equity, or even what's the word for it? A unified society. This all relates to why I speak about globalism. Why globalism is so it's so atrocious in terms of even again Black Americans. Globalism is one of the worst things to ever happen to society, because now again this collectivism and this equity, this universality becomes what was the word for it? It becomes pillaging. Because you, as much as you think is unity and whatnot be the case, really and truly in your face are telling you you're worth nothing, and that they want your land. That's what they're telling you, but you don't know that.
Can you say more?
Again, you can look into the Open Society Foundation. I can't say too much about that because it's
Okay.
To the prompt, or are we going down the line?
I think Lovely was next.
Lovely sauce to go, yeah.
Who's talking?
I think Jess and Lovely were next. Well, Lovely was next. I don't know if
Lovely, are you next or Jess? Who's
The
next?
Lovely came in first, and then Jess came in.
Lovely, you want it? Oh, she's
I'm
in.
listening.
Oh, you have something to say?
Honestly, I don't have anything to say about politics because it's something that was never brought up in my home. So
Read the question.
I would not honestly marry someone who have a different political view as me.
Why?
because I don't believe in abortions, and somebody else can believe in abortions. They can give me a million reasons why they believe in abortions.
Ooh.
I don't believe in a lot of stuff that a lot of people believe in, so
Can we
I
get
would
some
say
claps
no.
for you guys? Can we get some claps for her? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Women like that.
Where you get your concept of that from?
Huh?
Where is your concept of that thinking coming from?
It's just I don't know. Honestly, it's just that's just me. That's just how I feel. I don't like
I
if
mean, why
I
is it
feel
that you? Why is it that you feel this way?
because that was the way I was raised. I don't
Good enough answer.
like I said. Other people can believe in abortions. I don't believe in abortions.
I don't either.
Other
So
people can. I want to say like where I live now, the gun laws are way different than where everybody else is. But it's okay for them to use it as an everyday thing. But if you do it in somewhere else, then they be like, "Oh no, you're going to jail. You're going to do this. You're going to do that."
okay, lovely. Where do you stay? By the way, what state?
I'm currently in Indiana, where it's open carry, but I'm concealed to carry in Illinois.
For sure, I hear that. That's what's up, though.
Hey, listen, you know what is lovely? Prince Holder said it's your moral value. That's what it is. See, we all have values and morals, but guess what happened over the years? They get chipped away. We compromise. We compromise ourselves. It could be compromise ourselves with someone or a person or a thing or money. We just compromise our morals. So if you keep compromise your morals, eventually it keep chipping away, and you're just going to be open to it's okay, it's okay. No, it's not. It's not. You know what I mean? And we have to realize that something is wrong. Politically, spiritually, worldly, it's wrong in this world. Something is wrong. And people who are believers now. See, this is a separation now. The people who are believers in the Most High God. No, I'm not going to sweat about what's going on now because I know it's going to happen. It's people who don't have the knowledge of God. They weren't afraid. Oh my God, what I'm going to do? Take one. No. Listen. You should not worry about these days. You shouldn't worry about that because the Most High will take care of these people. All of that was happening in the world. You don't worry about it. But if you worry about it, that means you're in the world. That means you're caught up in the world. That you're not paying attention to godly things. Don't pay attention to worldly things because this world thing's not going to do and nothing. How are you going to make a country great again when the country is going against every morals and value and righteousness of God?
You know what it is? They want to bring down the black man and also tear down the black woman at the same moment in time. They use the black woman as a pawn, and the man becomes a whole entire so-called quote-unquote slave.
Let me tell you something here. You know what else culture that been damaged to and nobody's speaking about it? The Koreans. Check this out.
The Asians, yeah. Besides the
Do you know in the 40s, World War I, World War II, all those where American camp was, do you know those women work as sex slave in the camp?
Yep.
A lot of people have STI, all type people.
Yeah, and the Japs too. The Japs and the Chinese as well.
Let me tell you something. And let me tell you something. You know what it is when you have people that show yourself in the mirror, you're not going to like those people. No one could sit in this country and say everyone is 100% American. We are not. We are not, because if you take away 3 generations, people are immigrants that came here. Grandfather, Donald Trump father came here. Grandfather or father, whatever.
I mean, what do you have to say about black Americans?
From black Americans, listen, we were all here.
Right.
We were all here already.
FBA.
When Christopher Columbus came here, he went to Panama and walked over to Panama, came here. He saw brown people and went back to Spain, called Spain. That one gave him the money to travel, the Queen. And he went back there with gold, and they came back and re-up with what? dynamite, gunpowder. You don't bring gunpowder to somebody that don't have it. That means what is your intention? Let me tell you something. I watched a show a couple years ago. That's why I don't watch Channel 13 no more. Channel 13 used to be real Channel 13. I watch a program. In 1 year, 250,000 brown people died in America when the foreigners came here because they have all type of viruses. They had AIDS back then too.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want, see, the thing is, the reason why America don't want people to teach history because the real truth will be exposed. Everybody else know the truth in the world except for here. People, the kids here, they don't know the truth. That's why when they leave America and go to other places, they're, well, what do you mean? No, it's not that. Listen, it was a gender. They came here, they left England, and Europe came too. It's always the UK, France, and America, and Spain. And if I remember correctly, France, UK, and America all have the same colors. They support each other. So when they left England and came here, it was a plan because the Queen already sent them money from Spain. Christopher, yeah, we have a new. You know what they call it? They call it the New World. And when they came here, people was here. But one of the biggest war strategy that people use is to divide and conquer, and that's how Hitler lost. Because when he went to Russia, he divided us his soldiers. But if he would have kept everyone in cool, they called body heat, everyone freeze to death.
Yara, do you mind if I jump in?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, would you marry someone with different political views? So, I would definitely not marry someone with different political views. That's not the same thing as a person who is a conservative or has a different label, you know? Like, I think your views, even like you put a bunch of Republicans in the same room, they're all not going to agree on certain things, right? So I would never not be with somebody, marry somebody because of a label. I would really want to ask them, again, like the prompt says, their view. And basically your politics is your worldview. So people like to say that, oh no, my politics is different than everything else. You shouldn't get rid of friends because of politics, or you shouldn't stop talking to family because of politics. But your politics is your worldview. Your politics is the haves and the have-nots, who gets rights, who don't, where do you fund things, where do you not fund things, who do you think should be in jail, who do you not think should be in jail. It's all of that. That's all your politics. So I can never, again, like the prompt says, marry somebody, be unified with a man, and also do my biblical due diligence of submitting to my husband, knowing that he goes against the very fabric and spirit of God. You know, like I couldn't do that, right? And even the Bible doesn't describe and prescribe a woman to go against God in order to stay close to her husband. So yeah, I would need him. One of my non-negotiables is our compatible religious and political views. So yeah, I would never marry somebody who, again, differed from what I believe to be but the best is subjective, but what I believe to be the most helpful for all of society, I would never get with somebody who I think is the devil.
I mean, both parties do reference God. I mean, I'm just asking, not even for like no personal information, nothing like that. I'm asking just to kind of get where your mind is coming from. What do you identify as politically, or what do you affiliate with yourself with?
I would consider myself to be a moderate. I would never say a liberal nor a conservative. No, because I would never vote for Donald Trump, right? And I don't think, and
I feel bad.
and I don't think, right? I don't think, like what Lovely said. I don't know if you can say abortion, so I'm gonna say AB. I don't believe that abortion should be super available, super legal. I don't think that should be how people do their SMEX control, you know? So I would never support, again, the idea that we should just have all these ABs and no regulation, right? I think the point of AB is the lack of sexual education and resources. So to me, getting rid of AB doesn't fix the issue. You have to go to the source, right? But again, so I would never agree 100% with every single political party. That's why I say I'm more of a moderate. But I'm for Jesus, you know,
I
and
mean,
Jesus for a fact would not be down with the stuff that's going on today. He would not. He is not.
But yeah,
I mean, look at it like this. I think a lot of women are very much misled. Like I said, you're unfortunately, from a medical standpoint, a lot of women's minds are not stable enough to be wired or routed the way that it's supposed to be. And again, the logic is missing from women because of the high amount of estrogen, which you're supposed to be our partners, but we don't get along so well only because the artificial infiltration. Once again, they don't want you voting for Trump because then again, the corporations that exist today can still continue their reign. Now Trump has broken this galactic reign that they have. He's broken that field. He's broken that sphere. Now it's all broken. The veil is already opened. And again, the reason why people don't vote for Trump is because of Hollywood. Point blank.
No, it's because he is a convicted felon. It's because
How do you know that?
he was found
you know
liable for
what's wrong?
smex. He was found liable for smex abuse just last year. So I would
what law
never.
terminology?
I would never again. Trump does not promote godly values. He
With
was
what
just
law
found
terminology?
liable for.
He doesn't.
No,
Yes,
he
you want to know
doesn't.
with what law terminology this rhetoric.
It's not rhetoric. It's not rhetoric.
Again, I want to know with regards to the Black Law Dictionary, what law terminology do you have to back up your statement?
Hold on. There's so much feedback. I could not hear what you said.
I'm asking what law terminology within the law Black's Law here in the United States of America or a court of law do you have to back up your statement with that being said?
Are you saying Maslow's?
No, the Black's Law Dictionary. With what law terminology or what statutes do you have to back this up?
To back up that he's a convicted felon?
Yep.
That's public information.
It's yeah. So
That's
what are you
been
talking
proven.
about?
Mm-hmm.
What are you
Are
talking
you
about?
serious?
I want
Do
to
you
hear
not have
this.
cable?
I want to hear this.
Do you
I
not
wanna
have
hear this.
cable? Everybody
Again, I
knows
don't
that
watch
he's a
TV. With what law statutes in terms of the United States Constitution or court of law do you
New
have to back
York.
up your statement?
Yes.
New
So
the
York.
fact that
Oh, sorry. Go
Let her
ahead.
speak, please.
Go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Wayne.
Go ahead.
Allow her to speak.
I just brought up that the court found him liable for sexual abuse. So that's one
Which
thing.
court?
That was civil. So that's not felony. That's not felony. That's not felonious, right?
Civil court in what state?
What?
Civil court in which state?
I believe it was in New York.
Okay, and
It
what
was
what attorney generals?
it wasn't an attorney general. It was
that
a civil. It was a civil lawsuit. So
What attorney generals handle this case?
it was a
that
civil
doesn't matter.
lawsuit.
Again, I'm asking a very simple question. There were two AGs that handled the case. Which two?
Which two AGs handled his sexual abuse? Again, I don't believe there's an AG involved in a civil because I believe AGs are federal cases. So this was a civil court case. So he had an individual attorney and the other lady had an individual attorney. It was not the federal government that was helping him. He was brought to court as an individual, as a regular
Okay,
citizen.
so who's
No,
the chief
Alvin
justice?
Bragg
Who's
in New
Alvin Bragg?
York is the
Who's
AG.
Alvin Bragg? Okay, so who's Alvin Bragg paid by?
Okay, you can go ahead, Win.
No, listen, you can't get through when somebody is a full Trump supporter, they can't see reason, then they're idiots.
No, I see.
We
I see
know.
logic. Again, I
No,
didn't.
Hey,
I
hey,
didn't. Okay,
guys,
look at it like
we
this,
guys.
know.
ladies and gentlemen.
We
I did not
know
openly attack
that.
anybody on this panel. I'm just here
Respect,
to be
respect,
a
respect,
voice of
guys.
reason.
Respect.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
no.
I never cursed nobody out. I'm just asking very simple questions.
Well, she gave you a simple answer. She said that he was convicted of 34 felonies.
Again, these felonies were handled by, again, Alvin Bragg, like you mentioned, but Alvin Bragg is also paid by the Open Society Foundation, which is a part of globalism, which is horrible for Black Americans, once again, which is why I'm asking these questions, because I'm trying to see where this is all going.
I said that he was found liable for sexual abuse. So you keep bringing up what you think is not law and order, but the court that found him liable for sexual abuse was a civil court. So the idea that I would want my president to be found liable for sexual abuse is not true. I don't think that represents godly values.
Can I
In
ask
the
her a
same way
question?
that when Kamala brought the AB truck and she was driving around the AB truck, that also does not promote godly values. So to get on this panel when I just gave you all this information and then to try to interrogate me has a subtext of disrespect. You're being you're being intellectually dishonest with this, and I don't think it's conducive or constructive.
I don't know if it's
If
not
I can ask a
conducive.
question.
My whole thing
One at a
is,
time, please.
hold
One
on.
at a time.
Let me just finish right here. I'm
All right.
I'm just here to
I'll
say
go.
again, with this sexual abuse case, I hope you understand what lawfare is here in the United States of America and how it is illegal and it is punishable by law. If you're committing lawfare against a political opponent, that is considered against the law. That's illegal.
To my knowledge, those charges was thrown out.
Right.
To my knowledge,
All
I
of the
know
charges
there's
you were charged
one. I
with.
know there's a guy pushing it. I know there's one guy pushing it. But listen, all I know, the judge threw them out. The judge threw them out.
Charges are you talking about,
The
George?
charge, the one you're talking about, the judge threw them out because here,
He
listen up.
did. He
Let me
did.
finish. Let me land. Let me land. I cannot see no system that found someone civil court guilty and let him walk.
Right.
You
Exactly.
have to have some type of consequences. So you have to be very careful. That's what I tell people. I don't speak about nothing that I don't know. I don't want to see it on TikTok. I
Okay,
want to read
so
it in black and white on paper and say, okay, it's document, okay, then I speak about it. But if all I
okay,
know is this, let me land, there is no way
okay.
on this planet that anyone that had felonies could be president.
That's
Don't
not
think you
true.
should speak on this.
That's just
In
not
that
true.
in this an active
Okay,
an
so
active felon like this. Active felon like
That's just not
this.
true. And
that's
also, again, the civil
okay.
court, you're not found guilty or not guilty. You're found liable or not liable. So again, with the whole sexual abuse thing, he can still walk because it was a civil case. Again, I'm reiterating that because it was not a felony case.
And not just that. Let's just take the case that was thrown out here in Atlanta, because Fonnie Willis had a relationship with somebody, one of her co-defendants. It was thrown out, but we knew that this happened. There was a phone call to a commissioner saying, "Find me 11,000 votes." He never denied that phone call happened, but he still became president. So somebody can be president with felonies. It's just how much power they think he has, and it has thrown out. That lady relationship had nothing to do with his case. And in any case, if somebody does something to a woman and the woman say, "I no longer want to press charges," the state will pick it up. But in this case, they didn't. So therefore, somebody can be president with
Yeah,
felony
but
charges.
listen, if the state said, listen, if they threw it out, you didn't think they did the homework to look at it?
They
Well,
didn't. They didn't want to look at it. It was
no,
listen. There was no debating. This was a phone call that the senator recorded. Donald Trump never said that I never made that phone call. We have technology which shows that this phone call came from his phone. But because she had a relationship with somebody that was one of her co-counsel, they threw it out.
So
That is something that don't need to be proved.
Wayne, do you understand what the Open Society Foundation does here in this country?
Say what now?
The Open Society Foundation. Do you understand what they do in this country or what they're capable of doing?
Well, obviously they're capable of making a felon president.
No, the Open Society Foundation. I'm not talking about I'm talking about the Open Society Foundation with relations to George Soros.
Talking about PACs, which have been money has been in politics since the dawn of time. I don't understand why we're centering what this foundation does and how they misconstrue media, because you can talk about the Amazon Pact or the ABC Pact that invest money into different political candidates that also go against some people's, I guess you could say, rights and liberties.
Again, your media has no obligation to tell you the truth. And with that being said, once again, with regards to the reading room and the CIA support for Operation Mockingbird, once again, they have zero obligation to tell you any sort of truth. You have to find out for yourself. They at least cannot lie, though. I'll tell you that much.
See, that wasn't the case until they brought a law to effect to do yellow book journaling, which is what we're experiencing now, to the point where they had to call news outlets entertainment as opposed to actually being the media and the news. So it is purely entertainment.
Right.
They don't have to tell the truth. You're right, but that's
If I
because
can
they're
I address
considered
just real
entertainment
quick?
source.
But we know
I have a
we know the
question.
DHS has lied, especially about this Preety case. We know for
The
a
DHS. I'm talking about media.
we know for a fact. Again, what I'm trying to expand on what you
You're
said
swerving
is the
the
fact that your
conversation to your
government will lie
own.
to you. Your
Again, you're
government,
swerving the
your
conversation for your own
government,
agenda.
Your government will lie to you. Isn't that what you just said? The media will lie to you. The
I'm
media, the
saying the
government
media.
puts media out, right?
The government,
So,
listen, the government
so
does not own
the
media. What owns
Let's say
media is
government media.
conglomerates.
are
I'm
you?
talking
I
about
don't
again.
think you're.
I'm talking about conglomerates like Disney. These Israel conglomerates and BlackRock and Vanguard. These people all own this. The UN, they
Yeah.
all have huge shares in this.
Yeah, yeah. And what I'm telling you, right, because you could consider Twitter media, right? So if a government agency has Twitter, Facebook, then what they post on that is considered a form of media, right? So what I said still is valid, because if the government agency puts something on social media that is incorrect, then it validates your point that the government, quote unquote, will lie to you. And we
Again,
know that from the
you're
Preety
trying to use
case.
elicitation on me. That's not
We,
gonna work.
we, we know that from the Preety case. Again, you
Again,
can't plant, you can't
elicitation will not work on my
you
mind.
can't plant
I
seeds
have a
on
spinal cord.
infertile
I have a
ground,
brain.
you know? But Jay,
If
what
I
did you
can,
want to say to
Again,
me? I didn't mean to cut you off.
elicitation,
I apologize.
elicitation will not
One
work
at a
on
time,
me.
guys. One at a time.
Just
I
remember,
just,
I mean, look, I'm just saying, elicitation does not work on me with regards to what liberals have to say to me.
Jay, do you mind speaking?
yeah, no, it's cool. I just wanted to ask, because I'm a believer myself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that God can use somebody like Donald Trump, who's imperfect, probably isn't a believer in Christ, but somebody that can at least respect our belief as Christians in this country, and also to a fault, use Christianity as a means to try to get our country back on track? Do you believe God can use somebody like Donald Trump?
Do
He's
I
a
believe
perfect candidate.
do I believe
Perfect
God
candidate.
can
Yes.
restore people? Yes. Do I
And do you
believe
believe
God
that?
will use Donald Trump, who, again, like many people in the Bible, denied him, to then be able to push the gospel? No.
When did Donald Trump deny Jesus?
Right.
The multiple children he has on multiple women.
Wait.
That's
Back up,
not
Jess.
He's a
Jess.
that's
sinner.
not godly at
He's
all.
imperfect.
Back up.
That's
I
not
Wait a minute,
godly
guys.
at all.
This is
never
why we
denied. I never
One
denied
mic,
that he
guys.
was
One
that
mic.
he was
One
a
mic,
perfect
please.
man.
One mic.
Yeah,
One
I was
mic,
just saying.
please.
I never said that he's the perfect model Christian. What I said
He's not a
was,
Christian.
can somebody use somebody like him who is imperfect, who doesn't follow the scriptures to a T, like none of us do, because none of us are perfect. None of us deserve God's grace, but He gives it to us anyway, right? So I'm saying, in this instance, somebody like Donald Trump, who aligns with Christian morals and values, mostly, not like the liberals, right? Can somebody use somebody like him who can acknowledge, and he will probably tell you to his face that he's a sinner and that he's not a perfect man. But at the same time, he would also tell you that him using the Bible and using Christian values and morals is what's best for this country. A liberal won't tell you that. Kamala Harris won't tell you that.
Yes, they
They'll tell
will.
you that people can love who they love. They can be with whoever they want to be with. They can worship whoever they want to. And Donald Trump is trying to declare our country a Christian nation once again. I believe that God can use that person more than He can use somebody like Kamala Harris, who's stuck in her feelings and stuck in her ways and refuses to acknowledge Scripture.
Can I say
To
one
the
thing
fact
about
that
that?
she even said, hold on, to the fact that she even decided to make her way into black churches
Mm.
and pander to black people about Christianity, a religion that she doesn't hold to
True.
at
Facts.
all, in the slightest.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off at all. I thought
No. You good. Go ahead. You
so.
good.
Again, there's the problem with that, right? Because one, I don't feel like your question was a genuine question. I think it was rhetorical to me. So that's why I feel like, again, it wasn't constructive for the conversation. But I just want to respond about what you actually said. That's the problem. People think that the federal government is supposed to promote just a certain demographic of people. The whole idea of America was the freedom of religion. That was the whole idea of it. So the idea that our federal government has to then align with Christian values only is not the point of the federal government. The federal government was supposed to protect basically the quote unquote king's interest, which was supposed to be the whole of society. That's why you have state governments who also have agency. So just because the federal government says, okay, y'all can make abortion, AB legal, all this stuff like that, you can then fight the access to it and with sex education on a state level. But people will be one topic voters, and then they will choose a man who you can see by his lifestyle has rejected God and the gospel, who has incited violence against people, who has pardoned people, who unalive people on January 6th, who does not, again, who aligns the KKK like him. Right? So why would I think that an organization that has historically been against black people, against different Jewish communities, all that stuff, who has a history of violence, if they like a candidate, of course I know that this candidate does not suit God's needs, because God would not be a white hood person. So
Yeah,
what
but the
I'm saying is,
KKK also
to
is a
land my plane,
content. Go ahead, go ahead.
to land my plane, what I want to say is people are using the federal government incorrectly, and that's why people think that God can use Donald Trump to support the gospel. He can't. God won't use that because Donald Trump denied Jesus. But also, you can fight all the things you're trying to fight on a state level. Why did you have to choose him for the federal government? And you can have that choice with Kamala, because Kamala is the liberal one, right? She's the free one. Everybody can do everything, right? So fight the stuff on the state level as you should.
Okay, so to address a few of the points, right? You said that like you don't think that God can use somebody like Donald Trump. I find it weird, because I see, you know what I'm saying? So let's take out the fact that Donald Trump is a Christian. Nobody in here knows nor believes that he's a Christian man, all right? But what I'm trying to the point I'm trying to make is somebody, we haven't had somebody like Donald Trump to at least stand up against the agenda that's being pushed by the left. If I had a choice to engage in politics in the means of which side morals and values and policies most aligned with Christian principles, it would be the right, not the left.
He's right.
But
He's
his objective is to
Jay-
conquer
He's right.
and divide.
And Jay, why would
His
you believe that
objective
when you
is-
saw that the DHS basically lied about the whole thing with Alex Preety? They literally said that he was coming to them with his pew pew out and was trying to be violent.
Guys, wait
Hold
a
on.
minute,
Let her finish.
guys.
Hold
Listen,
on. Let her finish.
what-
Let her finish. She deserves time to speak. Let her finish.
No,
Go ahead.
that's what
Go ahead.
I'm saying is people will say that one side is the one that promotes the most godly values, but we just saw, right, that the people who claim to be all Jesus, all Christian, they just lied on an innocent man who lost his life, and they said through the media that he had his pew pew out and was about to commit violence towards them. And we saw by the multiple videos he was not doing that. Do you think God wants us to murder somebody? No, he's against it. That's a part of the 10 Commandments. It was not,
So the
they
fact
did not
that-
murder him
Listen, look.
again to promote the gospel. You think God would be okay with
Yeah, they
that?
took his pew pew too. Like they
Listen,
violated
guys.
his Second Amendment right, his First Amendment right, all of the things.
Guys,
First of
can I interject, please?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Listen, when you bring information on this platform, you better have all facts. You better have all facts. Okay. To Jess, did you do your investigation and knowing that that nurse a week before did some vandalizing? Do you see? See, that's what I'm saying. If you're going
What
to
does
speak,
vandalizing have to do with losing your life?
Is that
listen.
an unaliving worthy crime? No,
Wait,
it's
let me
not.
finish.
Make that make
Can
sense.
I
to y'all.
land? Can I land?
No,
Can I
because
land,
you're
please?
trying to insult my intelligence. So
Not just
I'm
that.
not-
How long does
Hold on, Jeff, I
vandalizing stick with the
told you-
person? Is it like
Listen.
2 weeks, 1 week?
Listen,
Okay.
I am not. Can you guys listen, please? I give everyone a chance to speak, and no one giving the host a chance to speak. I'm trying to make a point here. The point I'm making is there is evidence that week before, because he was out there to protest, he was vandalizing some DHS stuff. It's on. They have it. Even though it's not justified for what happened, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to speak fact, speak the whole facts. Don't be biased and let people say, "Oh, he was out. He's a good nurse. He was doing some stuff that he don't have no business doing." And you don't bring a gun to a peaceful rally.
So
But
if
the
we're
thing
going to
is-
speak in
Have that gun
facts,
legally.
Even listen,
on,
you know
hold
what I'm
on.
saying? Even if you have permit to carry, you know, because hear this no, you heard what his mom told him? Don't do nothing stupid. You could go out there, but don't do nothing stupid. Don't get involved with nothing. And his mom told him, mom said he never bring any type of pew pew to any, but this particular day he brought it, and look what happened.
Where did
So
you
you
find
said
out that
he
his
deserved
mother
it.
said that to him prior?
Hold on,
Because there's no
Go do
video
your
recording of
research. Go do your
Hold on.
research.
Where are you
Listen,
getting
No,
information
that we're
from?
not
Listen.
going.
If I
We're not
can
going
insert-
going
if
to
I can
respond
insert-
as go do your research. If I'm
Go do-
asking
that's
you
what
a
I'm saying.
thing
I did
about
my
where you
dip. I
found
did my
it,
facts.
found your information,
Hold on,
Okay.
and I'm
first
not
of all,
asking for a particular website or particular anything.
Go
I'm saying what
read
type of
documents.
source.
Go look at the news.
If
Go look
Google
at the
is
news.
your source of information, I hate to tell you this, but it is indoctrinated.
Okay.
Hold on.
All
So
right.
hold on. So
Okay.
hold on. Hold on.
What's
Hold
the
on.
All right.
relevance
Listen.
of
Listen.
it?
Listen.
So hold
Listen.
on,
Listen.
real
Go
quick.
ahead. Go
So
ahead. Go ahead.
the sister brought up a claim that it's not illegal to have her gun. Yes, that's true. But the moment you impede on a federal agent among
Your rights
anything,
revoked.
whenever you impede on anything, now that you have a weapon on
Your
you,
rights revoked.
now you're in the wrong.
But he didn't. That's the
He didn't
thing. He
impede
was
though. He
helping a
literally
woman up,
he
and then
helped a
they went
woman
to
up
his
and they
6
grabbed
o'clock
her.
It
and took
doesn't
his
matter.
POQ.
It doesn't
Y'all
matter.
are
It
promoting
does
the
matter because he
schmurder
didn't
of
No,
arrest
it's not.
anyone.
You
Nobody's
have to be
promoting it,
fair.
but
You have
what
to
we're
be
y'all are
saying is
fair.
promoting
both
this.
sides had it
Y'all are making
handled.
excuses for the fact that a man lost his life, and that's
Nobody's
why I
saying
know y'all
that.
do not
Nobody's
promote
saying that.
godly
Nobody's
values.
Hold on,
saying that.
You
nobody's
are saying
saying
that.
that.
You
We're
are
saying
saying
that
that.
both
You are
people
saying
had
that.
a
his
part to play. We're
crime
not saying we're not putting it all on him.
his crime was not punishable by death.
Nobody's
His
saying
crime
You
that.
are saying that,
Nobody's
Jay.
saying.
You
that's
are
what you're
saying that.
saying.
Nobody's
It's
saying that.
you
He
are
should
saying
stand
that, y'all. You
trial.
just
He should
said
stand
We're
at
he
not
trial.
saying.
vandalized. You said
Yeah,
he
Okay.
y'all
Can
are
I
vandalized.
just
can I
y'all are
explain
just talking
myself? Can
about
I
one
explain
side.
myself?
Y'all are just talking about what the officers did wrong. Y'all are not addressing what this man did. The part
He
that
did
he
Okay.
not do
advocated.
nothing wrong. That's the point. He
Okay.
helped a woman up, and the officer
Yes,
grabbed
but
him from
listen,
behind.
she was
He
impeding with federal officers, which is a crime.
where
You
did he
cannot
impede?
impede
Where
on
did he impede on
federal
them? What part of the
officers.
video did you see that he impeded on
He
anybody?
trying to help the lady up. You cannot once he trying to help the lady up, and the cop said you can't do that. He spray him, and he trying to put his hand in his back pocket, and the guy said a gun. But the issue is, why would you listen? I'm podcasting. I make sure I do my facts check well. Trust me. I'm not doing this for hype and all that. It's for views. I don't give a damn about views. What I'm saying is, if you're going to look at this realistically and overall evidence, why would you bring a gun to a peaceful protest?
It
It's your
wasn't peaceful.
American right.
Because it's your Fifth
It
Amendment
wasn't
right.
Okay, it's
one. It
your
wasn't
Fifth Amendment
peaceful.
right, but do you know
Oh
once
my
you
gosh.
impeach on a federal agent, you revoke
He
that right
didn't
because
impede though, just because
yes,
So
he got involved in a federal agent. He trying to help the
he
lady up, and they
picked a
told him
woman
no.
up. That's not impeding. I'm
It
so
sorry.
wait, I
doesn't.
think
Yeah,
that there's some
that's
things
her
to
job
add
to
into
agree.
this.
That doesn't mean that it's the law, man. I mean,
It's not the law. We don't want that to happen. But what I'm saying is,
But
we don't have to like it, but the law is the law.
is a law. Is a law.
That's all that we're saying.
Anytime a federal agent is doing the job, and you go there and say, "Oh, you can't do that," stop.
I
No,
know it's
you
all about the
intervening.
boycott, Princess.
You intervening. You intervening.
And we're
And
also not saying that the officer was right for pushing a lady down.
yeah,
We're
he
not
wasn't
saying that the
right.
officer was
That was
right.
wrong.
But it's also not your job to say, well, in this moment, I'm gonna not do what you say and not expect
Yeah.
consequences to come with that.
Yeah, but there is
There was
something
no.
called the
There was
Good
no.
Samaritans Act, and you're supposed to act as a good Samaritan. So if your
You
neighbor
can't but you
is
can't with federal
getting pushed to the
officers.
ground,
You
he did
can't be
not
a good
aggress the
Samaritan
person
with
that
federal
pushed her to the
officers.
ground, just helped her up.
Yeah, but that's not his job in that moment, and he
He's
impeded
It's
on
a
our
her.
job as a
citizen.
community to be a good Samaritan. Why
He's
do
a
you think they have the Good
citizen.
Samaritans Act?
Okay,
The
y'all
idea that y'all would say, oh yeah, it was wrong for the federal agents XYZ, but oh yeah, it was wrong, but
They're
you're
gonna keep on
negating
making excuses up until
you're
they get all their
negating
freedoms taken
everything he's
away.
saying. That's like when somebody says, yeah, it wasn't her fault what she was wearing, but it was her fault that she got aggressed and violated. Those two
Hey,
things.
hey,
No,
hello,
no,
y'all.
no.
Hello,
See,
hello,
you
hello.
see,
Hey,
no,
hey,
no,
hold
no,
on, hold on, hold on. I need
no.
everybody to stop. I need everybody to stop talking right now. Okay? We need to get. This is a rabbit hole conversation. This is not my topic. Okay, I've been quiet because I've been trying to get ready for work. All right, and I say this respectfully. All right. So let me just say this to be publicly clear. My political stance, I haven't stated it on here, but me personally, I am not registered under any party. I hold both sides accountable. And yes, I'm one of those people that believe the right wing and the left wing are both feathers of the same bird. Yeah, I said it. Okay? So I do not take the position to support Mr. T. I don't take the position to fully support Biden. Okay? So I don't stand on either side because quite frankly, I personally do not believe, since there's an electoral college, that I should be voting for a president ever again. And I'm gonna tell you what proved that for me is when Hillary Clinton won the popular vote but lost the election. So that right there told me that in a presidential election, and I didn't even, and I'm gonna tell you something right now, I ain't even vote that election, but the rest of my family did. Okay, so I do not support either candidate. I just want to make that clear for my channel because I heard a statement that was made. You make a statement, you make it towards the people you're arguing with, not my channel. All right, I'm glad everybody came. Hello, Jess. How you doing, Jess? I didn't get a chance to speak to you.
You doing, host?
Good, good, good. All right. So what I've heard basically kind of proves why only 21% of marriages are mixed politically. Because look what happened. This proves that. This goes to show you how important it is to align with somebody politically. And check this out. I'm going to get very personal to bring the conversation back to the topic. I'm a single man. I am not married, so I'm still in the dating game. I can speak to this. Because of my political views and how I am about voting, I have had many women tell me, nah, we can't be together. We can't be together. Because although you're not a Dem or a Republican, the fact that you don't vote, I got a problem with that. And then I would tell them, hey, I do support local voting because local voting and other political seats don't have an electoral college in play. It's all popular vote. So, but even then, so I understand how this affects dating and marriage. Most people don't even make it to the second or third date because they don't agree politically. So yes, I do support local voting, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't voted in almost 15 years.
That's scary.
Hey, that's how I rock. That's how I rock. Okay, I have my views, I have my reasons, but yes, I haven't personally voted over 15 years because my vote is agenda based. If it doesn't align with the agenda that I have and I support, you're not getting my vote. Simple as that. That's just how I rock. But yes, in the dating world, I have had many women say I can't do it. All women know. I've, there are women who agree with me and they say, you know what, you're right. For the ones in the conscious community, they tell me straight up, yeah, you're right, brother. That ain't for us. That's for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And that goes to prove, how I am when it comes to, political views and differences and stuff like that. Have I voted before? Yes. So voting is in my past. So I can still speak to this subject. And I'll explain why I can speak to this subject. A person who had a former profession, let's just say like a basketball player, right? They played ball for 15 years. But in the last 20 years, they haven't played basketball. They can still give their opinion on the sport of basketball, right?
Sure.
Okay. So I can still speak to the issue. Now, here's where I do know my lane. Now, for the thing that I didn't participate in, I don't really speak on that. But in terms of actually political views, as far as what would believe, what sides to take, and that policies that were enacted while I was a voter, there are things that I have my opinion on, and there are things that my information will be limited on, and I accept that. But we know that in the world, politics play a big role, just as much as religion to many people in this nation. So that's what the topic is about. The topic is not about ICE. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. I know this is a touchy subject. As a matter of fact, I chose this topic for a reason because I knew that this would get heated, right? I'm not trying to draw the heat, but I was trying to make a point. Is that you see why most married couples align politically.
Okay, can I speak for me? I was married for 10 years. I'm Republican and my wife was Democrat. We made it fine. No issues. Now the religious belief we're not gonna waver on. But political, we were both on odd end. So I'm telling you that it does work.
You say that universally it works for everybody, or that there was parts of y'all's relationship y'all just didn't talk about? Like, or like not parts of the relationship, but part of your
No, it was
personality
just
and your
because love has nothing to do with a political party. Love is the centerpiece, and that's where we were. It didn't matter if I was Democrat. I mean, I was Republican and she was Democrat. That didn't matter
did y'all
because
have I'm sorry.
as a couple, we talked about what we believed in, and we talked about this and we talked about that, but politically it didn't really matter. For 13 years I was married, and like I said, I wasn't gonna waver. I'm gonna vote Republican and she was gonna vote Democrat, and that was that. It wasn't, oh, you vote this way or you voted that way. It was just that's what we did.
Did y'all disagree on like the AB conversation? Did y'all disagree on
We did.
funding
We did.
schools?
We did. We definitely had disagreements on that, but we also understood that was in, like the gentleman says, the host, he votes only local. I was the one who told her, listen, forget what a president does. He has, forget what a president does. We need to concern ourselves with local, because they are the ones who directly affect us. We could be against something. I can be against something and she can be against something, but it's something that we can't fix because it's beyond local. So that's why I get what the host was saying. Now, I was scared that he said he don't vote, but the fact that he only votes local, I completely concur.
So the issues y'all were truly voting on a lot of times were more like where taxes were going
Right.
and like school choice and stuff like that, which are not the most divisive things, like, right?
Right.
So okay, and that's what I think is the differing thing is that when people do vote locally, statewide, and federally, right? Usually the federal ones, people are promoting these big topic issues, these hot topic issues that do show a difference in fundamental values. And that's why I think most people would not be able to be with somebody who, again, if they supported a candidate who, again, was found liable for sexual abuse, right? That would go against their fundamental values versus where like taxes go.
Yeah, but see, and then see, you can't take it. With me, life is, it's black or white. There is no gray. We do know that there were people that were in the Bible who didn't line up with the word. We do know that, and they were considered a man after God's own heart. So even beyond that, in today's society, where, like you said, there are things that we disagreed on, but it still didn't interfere with the greatest concept, which was love. So yeah, we had our disagreements, but it didn't override love.
Can you explain something to me? Because I'm like not confused, but I'm like shocking. Okay, you say you was married for 13 years
Yes.
and you divorced, right?
Yes.
So to me, looking from the outside, your guys get along politically correct, but marriage failed.
Yes.
What's wrong with that picture?
Nothing.
Well, I can only control the things that are within my reach. She cheated.
How you
Now that
control?
had I don't
How did you control the political part of it?
I mean, there was nothing in that point. There was nothing to be controlled. Cheating is not political.
You think again. So you spend more time political and fail at your marriage. Make that make
Say
sense to
what
me,
now?
bro. You spend
I'm
more
sorry.
time politically and your marriage fail.
No, I don't think I'm. Did
Bro,
I
you're not
spend more
married.
time political?
You're married. If you divorce because immorality, yes, it did not work, bro.
Right.
So why so it did not work? Your marriage failed.
But it
Deducing that
had
his
nothing to
marriage
do.
didn't work because of their difference of political values.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I didn't say that. No,
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
say that.
just
that's pretty much what you said.
I did not say that. I said that your political point was successful and the marriage failed. What's wrong with that picture? Don't marriage supposed to be
Nothing.
successful? Forget about political. I love my husband. I love my wife. We're going to make this work, babe. So this is what I look at it. If people, and this is not direct to you, this is a general statement. If people spend more time about taking care of their morals and godly business and pay attention to the vows that they took than paying attention to political party.
So I don't feel like politics in his marriage. I don't feel like that was a relevant part of anything. Like this was separate from that.
Yes, it did, because he said
But
they get along
I
good
could be
politically.
speaking for him.
But
Well,
they get along good politically, but marriage, you fail.
well, yeah, but that's like saying I drink water and the marriage failed. Like
No,
those two things don't go.
no.
Okay.
It's either one or the other. You're either saying the fact that they agreed politically then had something to do with the fact that his marriage failed, or they have nothing to do with each other. And when I just asked you, are you saying that his political views then contributed to his marriage failing? You
I'm
said
not
no.
saying no.
So which one is it? It's either
Political views, okay, they're two separate things. Your political views that have nothing to do with marriage. But what I'm saying is, it seemed to me, if I'm looking from the outside, politically it was good, but your marriage failed. Why your marriage didn't work? But politically you get along good together?
So are you trying to say that they focus too much on
Republican?
I can't follow you. I'm still trying to see how you're putting.
Okay, let me
see if I can say
in a round hole.
Yard, can I see if I can say what you're trying to say in a different way?
No, I know what I'm
That
going to
they're
say. What I'm saying
focusing
is
too
this.
much
What
on
I'm saying is
politics, not enough on their marriage, and that's why it failed.
It's the same thing. You spend more time politically than marriage. Make your marriage be successful. You fail at your marriage.
But this is the thing. There are two.
Let me make this
Bro, it doesn't
clear.
matter.
I don't think that's what he said, though.
Who cheated? The marriage is over. You got to do.
Okay, let me help you with this, because I think I can almost figure out where you're going. So politically, we can have our differences. We could, because those are things that we couldn't change.
Just being honest.
And because those are things that we can't change. As great as I am to her, and as great as she is to me, the thing that we can't change is somebody's views on AD. As great as we were, we couldn't change as far as who get taxed. I'm part of a 1%, and shit, they gonna tax me regardless. She's like, okay, just make it happen. So our political views didn't really enter the bedroom or enter our love life. We were just on different sides. But I was saying that I couldn't marry someone who religious views are different. Politically, sure. We don't go to bed talking about politics.
So what I'm saying, you're trying to say the marriage failed because of your faith, your values, your morals, and your Christianity and God. What? That's what you're saying?
Sure.
But what I'm saying is this. What was the priority here? See, this is the thing that in our community, we're just not being honest with ourselves, man. I ask you a simple question. It seems, looking up from the outside, looking from the outside, looking at the inside, it seemed to me that politically you guys get along good, but the most thing that you're supposed to focus on and make it worth it is the marriage, but the marriage failed.
The thing is, you don't have enough data to completely dissect why this guy's marriage failed. All we
Because
know
she cheated.
is
Listen. Stop being. Listen. He said that he's married and in a divorce. It failed, bro. It failed. Why you can't say
okay.
it
There's
failed?
no denying that, but he stated
we don't
that the
need to know the
reason.
details. That's not our job to know the details, because that's personal. But
If
it didn't work.
you're going to be making a deduction, if you're going to be making an opinion about his marriage, then you should know the details of it. But
No.
to
It's
then,
what he
to
said.
then
He
ask
said
him,
that he was married
to
for
then ask
13
him again, you've made a point. You've already told us multiple times that your point is that if people cared more about the godly values and the spirit of the marriage versus talking about politics and being about politics, his marriage would have worked. You've already said that. So what we're telling you is that even though that's your point, you are making that point from a limited amount of information.
No, I'm not. I'm
And then you
looking at
just
what he
I
said,
don't
said.
know everything that went
I
down in their
don't
marriage.
listen.
It could
I'm
have very
going by.
well been that
He just
she was bored of like doing the same thing over and over again, and she just
it
wanted
does.
to experience
See
something
now you
else.
don't know.
So she
You don't know.
experienced
Now you're
another,
assuming.
you
Now you're
know,
assuming. You're
eggplant.
assuming.
Like
But
His
all I'm
marriage
saying is
was
this.
like the side note, so we don't have enough information.
But we do have the information that it ended in a divorce.
Yes, but we
Oh,
don't have the
yeah, that's
but
what
full
happens when people
details to
they
like
get
it
for a
ended.
divorced.
side note.
Oh
Like I don't
man,
think that had any. Okay,
it had
so
nothing to do. It
can I
had
ask a question? When did you say that you see things black and white, or is there
There's
nuance in
no.
it with you?
No, I'm just saying I see things as black and white. There is no gray. There's no fine line. It either is or it isn't. That's what I meant by black and white.
Is that on everything, or is that on certain things?
I'm gonna probably say everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably say everything.
wow.
know, as a person, again, my Christian values, right? I could never be with a man who thought that or who didn't vote for a certain person because she was a woman, you know? Because what I know based on, again, my studying of the Bible, this is my bread and butter, is that well, when we were, I think it's in First Timothy, when Paul is saying that women should not hold authority over men, that's in the church. You know, it doesn't talk about women being
What?
leaders.
What is this?
It doesn't
Are you
talk about
serious?
Yard. Can I finish my point?
No.
Can I finish my point, Yard?
Only in the church. Only be. Oh.
Yard. Okay, thank you. So before I lose my point is, right, that there's a structure, right, that the man is supposed to be the head and then the wife submits to the husband, right? But the man first submits to God. So he's also not the God of that relationship. That's one. The second thing is that if a person didn't vote for Kamala or whoever because she was a woman, misunderstands what First Timothy is talking about when women should not hold authority over men, right? He's missing the entire point. And again, that letter was to Timothy about the church's operation. Because if that was true universally, then Deborah and all the women who financed Jesus' ministry and were evangelizing people with Jesus and his 12 disciples will be going against God. We know that's not true. So again, the biblical structure of the family is correct. Wives should submit to their husbands, correct. Saying that a woman can't hold political power, the Bible never says that.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, real quick. Hey, Mr. Yard, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, I had a phone call. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Hey, I want to say something real quick to my co-host. Okay. Hey, some people early in the comments thought I was yelling at you. I wasn't yelling at you, Mr. Yard.
Someone
To my
what?
co-host, I think you are part of everything.
No,
Somebody
because
thought
what it is.
that I was kind of like aiming it at you. Yeah.
Listen. I don't care who aim who. That's not my point. Listen, people don't understand. It's not. Listen, I'm going to make one thing straight today. I'm not here for views. I'm not here for like. I'm here to speak the truth. I'm a Bible based most high believer. Okay, I believe in the word of God. So if you come on here with your feelings on your hand, that's your problem. Listen, all I'm saying is if you come on my platform, I do have TikTok, but I'm saying I'm here with Mr. Fifth. You know, I'm also on my other platform. And if you don't like the way I come across, guess what? I'm not saying I'm doing this out of hate, but I'm doing this out of straight love because a lot of people, you know, like she just saying what I believe what she just said, the word is not true. That is not true. That is not biblical. That is not true. It's not only in the church. That's not true. That is not true.
Prove it.
Okay. See, we're going to go back to we're going to go back in Genesis. What happened in Genesis? Explain to me what happened in Genesis with Adam and Eve.
I asked you to make your point.
Okay. I'm going to do this one time because I don't think you... Okay. They both knew the commandments of God. Eve,
When do you mind muting? It's just a lot of feedback.
I don't. My apologies.
Eve decided to make a decision on her own. She was there talking to someone else outside of her husband, and the Bible don't tell you how long that took, but I guarantee you it wasn't just one day. He had to work on her, chipped at the morals. She had to let her guards down. And once she let her guards down, what happened? One of the consequences for the woman, because she transgressed, is because she have to give pain in birth, and they're going to be a division between the man and the woman, because she took on the role of a leader, and she make a bad decision. And this is where we at right now.
Oh, she was a leader because she ate the
No, you
fruit?
missed it. You missed it.
I'm asking
Who
a
was
question.
born first? Who was born first?
No, this is a specific question. You said she
What?
took the role of a leader. So are you
Yes,
saying
because she made a decision that she knows she don't have no business making.
so only leaders make decisions, nobody else?
I didn't say that. You're not following the story. Adam was here first. The man, the head.
Yard
Yeah, that's
chat.
a separate.
Eve came later.
Yeah, that's a separate point. You said
It's not a
that
separate
Eve.
point. You're not getting it. See, this
No,
is
I
this
said
is what.
separate. I said that's a separate point. We know Adam was made first. You're
But,
talking to a
but
person who studies the Bible. So we
if you
know
study the
Adam
Bible,
was.
why you don't notice that the woman, you're doing the same thing that Eve's doing. Want to take a man's role and make a decision and making bad decisions.
So this is what it's called eisegesis, which is reading in your own assumptions
No, it's
and
not. It's what's
biases
there.
into scripture.
Bro, you know what? Everything is there. If you're a Bible scholar that you're saying and you don't want to be corrected in a certain way, what I'm telling you back, I'm not telling you word for word, but this is exactly how it went in the Bible. Eve decided to make a decision on her own.
Yard
And that
chat.
was
What did
wrong.
what did Adam do after he realized that Eve bit the apple? What did he do?
They both ate it.
Exactly. So would you say that Adam followed Eve
They both
and
was
did the
held
same
accountable.
action?
They were both held accountable, but Eve
Right, exactly.
knew
So
that.
how can you
Eve
say
knew.
one's a leader over the other? They
I didn't
weren't.
say that. Eve, a woman can be a leader.
You did just say that though. You said
I know. I'm saying she took the lead from them. She took a lead as a man. You're not following me. Your guy, you see, this.
And Adam bit the apple, so she yielded. He yielded to her and bit the apple.
No,
based on what
it's
you're
wrong.
saying,
It's
Yard.
wrong.
You're
No,
saying
you're
she
not
took the
getting it.
leadership
You're
position
missing it.
from Adam.
No. Adam born first. Adam need a companion. God gave her Eve.
Yeah.
God told them both, do not eat from that tree. You're not going to end good. Don't do it.
Well, he told Adam that.
No, Eve. He told both of them.
Okay, go on.
So Eve decided to make a decision that she don't have no business making because she knew the rules. Why she didn't go back to her husband and say, listen, this person trying to get me to eat that is not against God? But no. She had a conversation and they had a conversation. And once that conversation had, she was beguiled.
Why was the fruit there in the first place?
Why? Because that was the tree of good and evil. Eyes open. God put it there. God is not a dictator. God tell you everything that you need to know, and you make a choice. So Eve made a choice, and they both pay for it.
Yeah.
But
So again,
didn't he know that choice was going to be made? Like, he knows everything that you're going to do before it happens.
Do anyone control your choice that you make inside your head?
I'm not making a decision on if he controls it or if he don't. I'm
God,
making
he's
a
not
statement
a dictator.
on
He don't
knowledge.
control you.
On
God
knowledge,
don't
and if
control.
you have the knowledge to know what people are going to do before they do it, then didn't he know that was going to happen beforehand? Why didn't he just
He
say
knew.
don't
He
do
knew.
it?
That's why he made preparation for all of that.
Yeah, so all of this is by design. Like,
Can I again just address what Yard said?
Yeah.
This is Yard, no disrespect. What I fight all the time is not only the principalities, right? What I also fight is biblical misinterpretation and people
Okay.
reading in assumptions and their biases into scripture. So the number one thing that we have to know is that Eve was not there when God first gave the commandment to
Let's go.
Adam.
Let's go to the Bible and
It's
rest it,
in
Mr. Fifth. Do you have the Bible with you, Mr. Fifth?
it's in Genesis. And so in the
I'm
same
driving.
We pulled this up the other day, Mr. Fifth. Can you share some insight that we confirmed this last week? Can you tell her, please?
Yes. Yeah. So in the scripture, when the serpent was talking to Eve,
No,
it say
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking
that
about the first commandment God gave to not eat. Not when they're both about to sin.
She's talking about God told them both not to eat from that. The
No,
knowledge.
you
God,
said that. You said that.
God told them. God
I
told both
said
of them
God
not to.
told Adam first. Adam then told Eve. So that's
No,
what you're
he told.
asking the host to find is the Bible scripture that says they were both there when God first told Adam.
Listen.
so the point the point is that the text we got to go by what the text says. So you're I know what you're doing. You're saying, well, he spoke to him first. Nobody's arguing in what order that God spoke to them, but she said to the serpent, God spoke to us. That's what she said to the serpent. She said, God
Thank you,
spoke
sir.
to us and told us not to eat of that fruit because we will surely die. The tree of knowledge. And here's the thing about that tree, right? The Bible speaks in parables. There's metaphors and similes, right? That was not an apple. Ain't no one in the scriptures say that actual fruit was an apple. So I just want to make that clear.
Exactly. So again, what I'm saying is, host, the idea that both Adam and Eve were there present when God first told them, and people getting that misconstrued. I don't want to harp on that specific fact, right? What I'm trying to show is that people will misconstrue and misinterpret what scripture actually says. And then they will be like, well, this is what God commanded for women, or God commanded for men, or God commanded for marriage. But you're taking scripture and you're misinterpreting and trying to add stuff. The same way people added the apple. There is no apple. It was just fruit. But imagine how many people believe that she ate an apple. So if something as small as an apple can be perpetuated through generations and be biblically untrue, imagine the other things that people are on panels, on TED Talks talking about the Bible says, and it doesn't say that. So the first person who was told the command to not eat from the tree was Adam. Eve was then told later, and then when she was talking to the serpent, she then could say, obviously, Adam and I were the same person, so he told us. But we know from scripture, Adam was told first. He is the head. He is the lead. The fact that when Eve ate the fruit, and then Adam was then with her and ate it after her, to then say, like what Yara was saying, was she was taking on the leadership role, is again another misinterpretation of the scripture, and that is dangerous.
It's not misinterpretation of the scriptures. No, it's not. Because she took a task that she don't have no business doing. It's the same thing with Saul and David. Saul couldn't wait for Samuel, and he took on the task of a priest. He's a king. So this is what it is. You know, we often think that God, you know, oh, yeah, God. Listen, if someone gave you a specific rule, listen, they both knew of it. That's the conversation. Eve knew that she don't supposed to eat off that fruit. She knew that. But once again, she made a decision, a choice to do what she wanted to do.
And you brought this up to try to dissuade us from God saying that women shouldn't be political leaders. Can you please make the connection between Eve going out and doing this sin against God and the fact that women shouldn't hold political power?
I'm not saying that. Nobody's saying that.
You
Nobody's
just said
saying
that, Yard.
No. Who said but
Yard.
only in the church? Who said
Yard.
in the church?
Yard. Please
I'm
do
not
not be
saying I'm listen,
intellectually.
listen. All I'm saying, a woman, if you go biblically by the Bible, God is the head, Christ, then man, then the woman. That's how it goes. But when you're trying to say, oh, I'm not saying a woman can be a leader. A woman could be a director, leader. Yes, I'm not saying that. But when it comes down to spiritual values and righteousness, a woman cannot lead. That's what I'm saying. And that's how everything started, because she made a decision that she don't have no business making.
And do you see why I'm telling you that this? I don't know if you can see, so I'll just say it. It's intellectually disingenuous to say that
No, it's not, because
did.
if both
Yard, I'm
parties,
talking. I'm talking.
if both parties, if both parties knew of
Yard, I was in the
something,
middle of my sentence.
go ahead, talk. Go ahead.
Accountability is tough.
The whole reason we got on the Bible, which again, I'm pretty sure host is gonna be like, this is not my prompt, right? The whole reason we're veering off again is because I mentioned that if a man does not vote for a woman to be president because he thinks that First Timothy was talking about political power and women not being the head of or subjecting men or her authority over men in all cases and not just the church, he is incorrect in that. And then you told me I was wrong and said that look at Genesis. And I told
Look
you
at
to
Genesis.
I
Yes,
told you
we
to
established
explain
that.
your point. So now that we're talking about how does Eve acting outside of God's design, which is eating the fruit, how does that correlate with women shouldn't have political power? And now you're backtracking and saying that's not what you're saying.
Because guess
But
what?
the whole
Let me
point,
explain.
there's no reason to explain because
No,
you're backtracking.
because you got to understand this. A woman always rule with sensitivity, feelings behind it. There are feelings behind it. Feelings. They all feel. It's feelings. That's why women don't. Okay. Do you agree with TGJ making his daughter head of the church over her husband? You agree with that?
No, a woman should not be the head pastor of a church.
Oh, okay. It's not about. It's.
So again,
So one question:
It's
if a
not
woman
church,
can
bro.
be a head of
It's not
politics,
church.
why not the church?
are you asking me?
I'm just asking in general.
What was the question?
If a woman can be at the head of politics, why not the church?
So I believe what God was intending with that is for the church to exemplify what the most intimate relationship is, and it's marriage. Even the Bible says it's God's most beloved institution. But also, even outside of that, attaching that back to Bible, I would also say that culturally, we always say that a woman can't raise a man. So I believe that the extra layer is that if you are in the church, another man of God needs to learn how to be a man of God with other men. And so a woman can't help him do that. A woman can lead the women's ministry to help other women, but she cannot lead the men in the same way. So those are my two reasons.
Okay. So what if she led the church overall, but she had a man helping her with some parts that she couldn't do per se? Would that still be acceptable, or would that be not a good workaround?
Yeah, so I truly believe, so again, women can be leaders in the church. They just cannot be the lead of the church. I
Okay.
guess you could say the head, right? It has to be a male figure. So to me, the only workaround, I guess, of that, I guess it's not really a workaround, is that there's a male lead pastor, and then there are women, and we see this all the time in the Black community. There are women who do the deaconesses, right? They do all the they're like the governors, right? The lead pastor is the president, and they're the governors.
Okay. Fair enough. I will like to make one comment though, is that I don't think that women are too emotional. I think that emotions and feelings are good, and it tells you lots of positive and great things, and men need to be just as emotional and in touch with it as women do. And if you kind of look at leaders, I would like to think that they're way emotional and act sporadically than a woman per se.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've literally had people accused, almost bombed because of feelings. We've had submarines moved into certain areas because of feelings. Like, I don't think saying that woman is too emotional is the best argument for them not having leadership.
Thank you, Jermaine.
You're not
And
listening.
if you
I'm
want to
not. I'm
see,
not.
if you want to see a
Yeah.
man's emotionality, just look at Philadelphia when the team wins or loses. They be tearing that city up, right? All of the YNs who are pew-pewing each other in the streets, they not doing that from logic. They doing that from emotion. Oh, he disrespected me, so I got to get mine. That's emotional. A man Nick Cannon having a bunch of babies, he's doing that because he's leading by his lust, which is an emotion. So it's, again, to say that women are the emotional ones and therefore they can't hold power
Okay,
because
so
it's just not true.
so what happened to the woman accountability as well?
No, women definitely need to be
You know what I mean?
accountable.
You
But I feel
saying
like
Nick Cannon, but it take two. He couldn't do it by himself.
he could do what
Talking
by
about
himself.
we're talking about your point that women are the more emotional ones, and I
Yeah, but
I
I'm going.
disprove that.
But
We're
you
all
know you didn't. No, you didn't. You're going
Like,
by
Nick
Nick Cannon.
Cannon
What you did, you
clearly
threw it on
could
the man.
have
You
had
threw it on the man that
relationship.
Nick Cannon is going around in his fleshly. That's what you threw it on. But it take two. A woman have to be held accountable too, because he's
Well,
not living by
so,
himself to have these babies.
but Nick Cannon could clearly have a relationship with 10 women that don't know about each other and think that they're the only ones. Like, that's not, like, how do we put this on a woman? Like,
We're not putting on. I'm saying accountability on both parties. Accountability.
what? So, if I
who's the
had a
head?
relationship with 5 women, what accountability does those women have
There is no
in
accountability
that?
because you're not accountable to none of them.
Yeah, but that's not the women's problem. That's the man problem who did
But
it.
the women are letting these people in.
Well,
He's
yeah.
He's
I'm sorry,
Listen,
yes.
he's also having the baby. Like, she can't have the baby without his seed. So you can say all day, what about her? But he's supposed to be the head. He's supposed to be the leader. He's the one who got appointed to be the
no. I
householder.
don't buy no
He's
accountability on both parties.
he's the
Accountability.
again. I'll make one small example and I'll be quiet. Society is like a company, right? If a company is bleeding money, they're not looking at the social media girl. They're not looking at the janitors, right? They're looking at the leadership of that company. What are y'all doing that this company is failing? So when I talk about single mother households or talk about the fact that the Black community is incredibly poor and economically impoverished, all that stuff, right? I'm looking at the leadership. I don't want to talk about Meg Thee Stallion or the City Girls because biblically, they're not the leaders. Biblically, their fathers in the home were the heads. So if they went awry, he was the one who had the most responsibility. When both Adam and Eve ate the fruit or whatever, it was Adam who was called out first. Not because Eve didn't have no accountability, but because Adam had the most responsibility. So you see what I'm saying? So I don't want to talk about what the Nick Cannon baby mamas are doing when he is the one who has the most responsibility as the man.
But
So
still, the woman have to be held accountable because she the one laying down too. See, be honest. It's a balance. He couldn't lay down by it and make baby by. There have to be someone there. And listen, hear this now. Here, no one is taking accountability. No safe sex, and they know what will happen. So where's accountability? No one is taking accountability.
Yard.
I'm seeing your point. I see your point.
No,
I see everyone's point.
I'm sorry, host.
Real quick, y'all got to give y'all final thoughts. I got to end the stream, okay?
Well, I'll jump off. Thank you, host.
It was nice talking to you guys. Interesting dialogue. Have a great day.
Bye, host. Y'all
All
be
right.
safe.
All right.
All right. Thank you. All right. Hey, Elevate still there?
A train is arriving. Please keep clear for passengers exiting the
Elevate.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here.
Hey, you have any final thoughts?
No, it kind of got to super religious talk, and I kind of landed with what I wanted to land with.
Okay. All right. Thanks for coming on, okay? I appreciate that. I appreciate your view. No problem. It's the yard.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, they said that when I was talking earlier that my audio was cutting out. I was saying that people thought I was yelling. I wasn't yelling at nobody. I was just trying to restore order. And I wasn't aiming nothing towards you as my co-host. That wasn't the problem. So I just want to make sure I make that clear for the audience. Because I'm not doing that. I'm not going to disrespect my co-host.
Listen,
You know
to
what I'm
be
saying?
honest, I don't. This topic is one personal choice.
Yeah.
It's one personal choice, and the thing is, accountability. No one want to take accountability, and you know what I mean. People say, "Oh,
Right.
See, I see their point, but what I'm saying, think
Yeah.
outside the box.
Right.
Think outside the box. And she claiming what she's saying is right in Genesis. I respect what she's saying, but she's not telling the whole story.
Right.
They
Right.
both
And you know,
knew of the price that God told them not to do. They know there was one. But she just trying to say, oh, God went to the man. Yes, he went to the man because he's the head. But she was dealt with for her, and they both were dealt with. But what I'm saying is this: I just, people come on these platforms. Like I told her, if you're going to come on the platform, you got to come with the facts and truth. Like I told him with the Gooden guy, he had some issue the prior week before. They saw him vandalizing. She said, "Oh, where's that? Where's the proof?" Go read. Why should I come on here? And that's the problem with people on TikTok. They think everything everyone's saying is 100% fact. No, you need to go fact check what people are saying. And I'm not denying what I said. I said, if you don't believe me, go do your homework and do your research. I'm not going to do it for you because I'm a podcaster. Anything I come on my podcast, I got to make sure it's facts and truth. I have to do my research. I don't come here just to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you holding it because you know me around a certain time of the stream, I got to get ready for work, right?
Listen, brother.
So I had to step away from away from the phone. So I appreciate you as always keeping the stream going. You know what I'm saying, and engaging with people because I have that time where I got to get ready for work. And I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff during that time.
The only thing that you missed, I know you get ready to go. She talk about going back in Genesis, and she's not being real. See what it is. Women these days, not all, it is distorted. They don't understand what they did in the Garden of Eden affect every woman today because everything is distorted. Because every person born now, we're all born in iniquity. We all shaped in iniquity. We all fall short. So you think like that, oh, woman could just listen, anytime a woman had anything, it's not going to end good because that's not her lane. It's just not her lane. And women these days want to make it her lane, and she trying to tell me, oh, what women are leader? I didn't say women can't lead, but depends on the situation. Not in the church. She said only in the church. No, this is in the household as well. She said only in the church. So you want just to lead in the church, and when you go home, she's a demon, she's a devil, she don't do nothing. That's not right.
And here's another thing. I meant to get to her point. So she's the one who said that she couldn't marry a guy who didn't want to vote for Kamala because she was a woman. So that's actually her point that she brought up. Nobody on the panel brought that up but her.
And she didn't want to get the answer.
Right, and I was trying to address her point by saying that there are many reasons why people don't vote for someone. It's not just because of what they got between their legs. And I was trying to speak to some of the issues and agendas that people vote on, that they hold tight to their bosom, that they choose a candidate or not. And that's one of the things that gets missed a lot in political conversations. But earlier, what I wanted to do was bring the I have to be a responsible host, right? So what I had to do was bring the conversation back to why we have these. This live proved why. It proved why only 21% of marriages are mixed politically because of this right here.
Yeah.
And yes, people treat politics just as much as their faith. Like it's that strong. You could tell. You could tell how passionate everyone was about their political views. And the reason why most people typically marry each other with the same views is also by proximity. If you're from the same neighborhood, likely chances are you guys are going to vote the same. You're going to have similar morals. You know what I'm saying? If you grow up in a church, you're going to have that too. If there are many things that connect people together. And so that was what I was hoping. I had to kind of like go off to the side, but I do appreciate the stream. So, hey, brother, I'm gonna call you off air, okay?
Yeah, all right, man.
All right, y'all. Thanks everybody for tuning into the stream. Thank you, Princess. Thank you, as always, Princess. All right. We'll see y'all Saturday afternoon. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 Central, 10 a.m. Pacific. All right, y'all. God bless y'all.